Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another day of 30 NSG. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about the U.S. Video game industry gets back to growth. We're going to talk about an article there. We're going to talk about Starfield is now the best-selling game on Steam ahead of its launch. And we're going to talk about the Ahsoka, just the ratings of, not the Metacritic score or anything like that. We will talk about that, but about how the lackluster appeal of the show is, and I'll give you my thoughts why not many people are watching the show. So that's all on today's episode. Well, we can go into other conversations. It's a light news day. Not really much is going on. I would assume because everyone's waiting for something about Starfield in the video game industry. So the industry is not really doing lots of news stories right now. So if you like what we do here, we do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning to about noon Eastern time. So make sure you hit that like button down below. Hit that subscribe button if you're not subscribed. And also, above and beyond that, you can be a member as little as $5. Helps us out here. What's going on, Travis? Kylo, Dave Rose, Dolphin, Boss. What's going on? Good morning. Good morning. Let me see what you guys are saying. You guys are just having a little conversation. All right, so those of you, let me give you a little housekeeping here. What's happening right now? You guys know I live in Florida. There is a hurricane off the coast. Right now, it's not supposed to hit us. I mean, we're getting outer bands and whatnot. So unless the hurricane moves, because right now it's going towards like the Panhandle area, everything's kind of up in the air because if it pauses and moves and comes across, it could change the whole outcome of what's happening in the next couple of days. So that's always up there. Anyone that's in the path of the hurricane, stay safe or whatnot. It's supposed to cross us this evening. Tomorrow morning is when we're going to start hitting getting stuff. So if my power goes out or anything like that, these are the reasons why it's happening. Other than that, as far as Starfield goes, Thursday night we have a podcast, 8 p.m. Generation X Gaming, episode 363, I believe, or 364. I forget which one it is. We'll probably jump into Starfield at the end of the podcast, right? I'll have another stream where we just kind of like jump in real fast. I probably won't even make a character, just kind of just jump in. Just to take a look at everything and try to talk about it more than play it type of stuff. So if you guys are worried about like spoilers or anything like that, we're just kind of going to jump in and, kind of do a sightseeing tour of what Starfield is when it comes out. Other than that, I think that's about it. And then we do the podcast on Friday with Lono on the Reforged Roundup, I believe it's what it's called. What's going on, Soups? Kylo says, holy crap, we can only have 9 ships start. They told you that like a year ago. They told you that like a year ago. I hope it misses me. I mean, Dolphin, it's got to hit somebody. And that's the thing, right? In this situation, it's like everyone's praying that everyone else stays safe, but it's got to hit somebody. You know what I mean? So, all right, let's start off with the U.S. video game industry. This article, where's this article from? This article comes from it's gamesbizindustry.biz. Okay, let's make this nice and big for everybody. So the U.S. video game industry gets back to growth, improved hardware supplies, and blockbuster new releases driving the market. So the decade has been turbulent one for the U.S. video game industry. It began with the surge in players' engagement in dollars from people wanting to stay connected to the family and friends through the pandemic. This is followed by a similar decline across all measures with the return of spending on experiences which happened to come along with the new hardware console supply constraints, numerous game delays thrown in for good measure. Now today, however, the supply of new generation hardware has improved and stabilized. The blockbuster games are being released, and player engagement patterns have settled into a new normal. I don't understand what is a new normal. It's just going back to normal, right? Like what happened in 2020 was the new norm, right? Everyone was staying inside. Everyone was doing stuff where we couldn't leave our houses. That was the new norm for the time being. So it says this has allowed the market to settle after months of wild swings, both higher and lower. Now, below are just some of the factors that are influencing the market today and will be worth following closely moving forward. Now, formerly of the NPD Group, an IRI expects the U.S. video game market to finish at 2023 having delivered a 3% growth, reaching a $58.3 billion. That's insane. You just think about that number for a second. The video game industry is at a $58.3 billion market, which is absolutely insane. Okay. It says hardware did much of the heavy lifting in getting the market back to growth over the past 12 months. Sales of the new hardware products contribute to $7 billion of the $57 billion in total video game spending in the U.S. market over the past 12 months, 19% higher than the same period a year ago. So you can see here, this video game spending summary, a surge of PlayStation 5 supply has helped hardware market reach a 19% growth, a 5% decline in mobile drop in content spending. U.S. video game consumer spending, hardware gained due primary to PlayStation 5. It says segment, content, hardware, and accessories, change versus a year ago, $47.5 billion, which is a -1 change for content, $7 billion, which is a 19% increase, and then accessories is $2.5 billion, which is a -1. So on a trend basis or bias of a $57 billion spending over 12 months is 1% higher than a year ago, 13% above the pre and early pandemic 12-month period ending in July of 2020. Total U.S. video game industry spending, current 12 months rolling spending is 13% higher. 12 months at the end of 2020 is $50.5 billion. So you can see what happened here. I mean, look at this. This is when we all went in. This is how it came out. And then it's coming back down to 57. So after the period post-launch constraints that both limited sales potentials while also causing planners across the industry to pull significant amounts of hair, supply of new hardware has also become readily available. PlayStation 5's has been particularly strong over the past year, with the supply noticeably improving beginning on July 2022. Expected the PlayStation 5 to remain the hardware market sales leader until at least 2025. Despite the supply constraints, early in the generation, each console is comparing well to the prior hardware releases. On a comparative basis, PlayStation 5 is now trending 5% above the PlayStation 4 and 87% ahead of PlayStation 3 in the time-aligned units sold life over date of the date. Now, while Xbox Series trails Xbox One by 10%, yet leads Xbox 360 by 6%. So it says Switch has also continued to perform strongly in 2023, helped by the release of The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. In fact, the U.S. lifetime sales of the Switch hardware finally surpassed those of the Wii in the United States, or the U.S. market, during July of 2023. Switch lifetime sales now trail Xbox 360 by less than 1 million units and PlayStation 2 by fewer than 5 million. We are also, however, seeing a shift in the consumer base for new video game hardware. Now, it was uncovered that the high-income households, those earning over $100,000 a year, are contributing to most to current video game hardware sales, a significant shift from where the market was at the beginning of 2020. Higher prices in everyday spending in categories such as food and gas, as well as a shift from Switch towards more expensive PlayStation 5 consoles, are likely contributing to factors amongst others. So high-income household gains hardware share. Households earning more than $100,000 a year accounted for 40% of the total video game hardware volume sold during quarter 2 of 2023, up 29% of quarter 1 of 2020. There you go. Blockbuster titles offset spending slowdown in mobile, subscription, and add-ons. Growth in digital premium full game downloads has been the biggest contribute to content performing so far this year. Several prominent new releases have helped drive these gains, while we've continued to see a shift towards digital premium downloads and away from physical discs. Okay. Sales of the Blockbuster new releases have offset declines in mobile, as well as a slight dip in digital add-on content spending. One area that did particularly well through 2020 and 2021 was subscription, new service offerings, a limited new release slate due to delays, and consumers base with plenty of time regulating results in double-digit percentage growth for subscription spending early in the decade. Now, recently, however, subscription spending has plateaued. U.S. consumers spending on video game subscription service has settled in around $400 million per month after having first reached a level of November of 2021 subscription fatigue. Fewer available dollars for spending due to higher food and gas prices, slow mass market adoption to the cloud gaming, and strong slate of new premium releases may contribute to factors to the slowdown. This is interesting. this is interesting because more people, right, in the 100,000 household income are spending more, right? They're spending more on games. They're spending more on PlayStation 5s. They're buying physical discs and whatnot. But yet here, because of gas prices, right, this up here said these people are spending, even though gas prices and food prices are going up, right? Because the more money you make, you're more likely to spend more money. Where people that have less money, you would think that the streaming services would, be more viable for them, but they're just not. It's plateaued. So video game subscription spending plateaus. Okay, you can see the massive growth in January. Everyone was stuck in their houses around this part, right? Stayed in there. And then all of a sudden now we're sitting here at 400, and it's a little under 400 now. It's about 375 it looks like. Headsets helping accessories. Now, accessories spending spike during the second and third quarters of 2020 as consumers start to learn more from home. Headsets and headphones were one of the areas of spending that grew the fastest in this period. More rapidly available supply PlayStation 5s and Xbox Series consoles, along with replacement purchasing for those headsets that are approaching 3 years old, have helped push headset sales 2% higher during the 2023 year-to-date compared to the same period in a year ago. The PlayStation DualSense Edge and the Xbox Elite gamepads have also helped, with the marketing continuing to show a positive response to premium gamepads. Looking at long horizon, real quick before I continue to read on, I also think a lot of the stuff we talk about, product obsolescence and whatnot. And I think people, we always give the example, if I tell you that this glass of water is $1, you'd be like, what's wrong with the water? But if I sell the same water for $10, you'd be like, that's the best tasting water I've ever had. So I think in my opinion, obviously, I think we talked about Turtle Beach a couple weeks ago, right? How they're just really shitty, and we call them Shitty Beach, right? Where the market looks at that and goes, I don't want to pay because they were cheap headsets, so you get what you pay for. So I think that's the mentality now, right? More people are spending for the high-end controllers, the high-end headsets, because you would hope that the more you pay, the more the better it feels, because you feel like it's good quality stuff, and that's why people want to buy good products, right? Oh, I got to change the thing up on top. Give me 1 second. I got to change that. So that's the wrong thing. Go. All right. So looking at the long horizon that it allows, we can also see that the general changes in video game hardware and accessories spending have correlated in 2022. However, the market experiences a dip accessories spending even as hardware sales increase. This is more due to the factors that brought forward accessories demand earlier in the decade, and it's reasonable to expect accessories and hardware to align more closely in 2023 and beyond. Now, the VG hardware accessories spending by year, you can see since 1995, they have a list here. You guys can see this, right? And then obviously it goes up in 2008, pitches back down to the mid 2010s, and now creeping back up back in 2022, 2023. Now, of course, there's just a handful of factors impacting the U.S. video game market and outlook, which also changed quickly and unexpectedly. Amongst others, we're keeping an eye on. Holiday 2023 gets competitive. For the first time since 2019, the holiday window this year will feature a full stock of video game consoles, hardware systems, and large library of new video games to play. Student loans looming. The resumption of student loan repayments may impact the available dollars spending on categories like video games, particularly for lower income households. Portable PC growing. Steam Deck and the ROG Ally have provided optimistic signals of what could become a significant PC portable hardware gaming marketplace, once more exciting growth areas in video games. And the U.S. video game market continues to be a dynamic and quickly changing landscape, but one with more continued optimism in both the short and long term. While we do expect a 3% growth in 2023, there will continue to be turbulence, however, not from a macro factors like pandemic, but more from changing video game player demographic, business models rising and falling, and even rising again, and perhaps mostly importantly, a creative vision of the artists that make the games and people love. So, interesting stats, right? Interesting stats about people, more people that are making, it's not really a shocker. More people that make more money spend more money, and people that don't make as much money struggle to make money, so they have to, figure out where their spending is. And most of those people that, where if you're above the $100,000 and you're safe, you have enough money to do stuff, you just buy stuff now, right? You're like, I got the money, I'm going to buy it now. Where people that are lower income don't buy it now. What they do is they save up, and then they buy it for the holiday season for their kids or for themselves or for birthdays and stuff like that. So they wait and wait, and then they spend their money during the holiday season. So it'd be interesting to see what happens this holiday season with people, that people spend their money for the holidays. Let me see what you guys are saying inside of chat. Come on, Magic. Kylo. Don't forget to hit that like button. Yeah. Only $7, not very expensive at all. Nothing being done Thursday except Starfield. Just taking off. Thursday is done. It's National Starfield Day. Shit, I love cheap headsets and plastic shitty one that covers one ear. Those things are comfortable as hell. Are you being serious, boss? Is that what you wear? I can't stand those like old school. You know what I'm talking about? Those old school like Sony Walkman with the barely padding on it. I also hate the ones that came with the Xbox originally. That little half plastic, little like telecommunication operator. I used to hate those goddamn things. I could care less about the game, and I'm more hyped for Turtles DLC. That comes out the 31st as well, right, bros? Who says, I have to be careful with my funds because something with the article didn't mention is important. The thing that wasn't mentioned is the stagnant wages that inflation was knocked on effect. That's true, but this is also for the U.S., right? So I don't know where you live, but you're absolutely right. They didn't put it in where people are, stagnant wages and whatnot. You're absolutely correct about that. "2019, 2020, and 2021, we're going to go up for games, consoles, and accessories." Sure. And here's the bad thing about what, besides us all standing inside for that time frame, is that these businesses made more money than they've ever made before, right? And they're like, well, how do we get back there, right? Which they're not going to, right? They're never going to get back to that point. Because you literally had you had everyone on the planet stuck inside, right? Well, I don't want to say never. I should say, I always say never say never, because they're already trying to do it again, right? If you pay attention to the news, they're already trying to promote that stuff again, right? There's certain things happening. I don't want to get political or anything like that. Go watch the regular news for that. But it just so happens to be pertinent for this conversation, where that growth could happen again if it happens again, right? Which would be pretty fucking scary if you ask me. Super comfortable on my head and neck. I like the earbud idea from Sony. I have an earbud in my ear now to monitor stuff, but there's something about the I like the headphones. I had a pair, but I don't have it anymore. I like the headset. Right now I do HyperX, not advertised by them in any way, shape, or form. But I like the headsets that this is open, where you can hear outside. I know it's very specific for but I can't see behind me. And when my wife or son come into the room, they scare the crap out of me if I have my headset on. So since my son was born, I would always have one ear off so I could hear stuff, right? Then I bought a headset that I could hear when I'm playing, that I could hear and also, right? So you can hear the outside sound so you're not freaking out. So I know it's very specific for me, like what I want, but yeah. Yeah, exactly, boss. You know what I mean? It's like you pay really good money for these headphones, and then you're always like one off, right? And it's just weird. The economy is in the shitter. Not surprising to see things level off or drop. Right, but as a business, right, Reese, they want this to do this, right? They don't care. Well, how do they get it to do this? Well, if it's doing this, then we have to fire people, right? That's what the industry will do, right? Studios and developers will fire people to make this number go up because they don't have to pay that out to people. I find it Sony that headset for $5 very comfortable. Best Sony headset I've ever put on my ears. I heard that the new Xbox headset, I think Mo's got it, says it's really good, and I've heard someone else say that the headset is actually really good. The new Xbox, their first party headset is pretty good. So that's good to hear that Sony and Xbox are both making good headsets. You put a helmet on. Sounds like the old Xbox call center headset. I hated that, man. No, I hated that headset, Reese. The old like operator one. Yes, please hold. I hated that headset. That's the first thing I got rid of when I bought the Xbox. I literally just chucked it out and bought an actual headset. Hated it. That was the worst. Take me back to when we wore those headsets while gaming, so I had to upper hand and sound. Yeah, I need a good headset for my Xbox. Haven't found a comfortable one yet. That's the problem. Sometimes you buy a headset and like the centerpiece like pushes down really hard. I think the Astros do that. Then there's other ones that are like super tight, like pushing on your head this way. There's a lot of you have to find the perfect headset. And the ones I try at like Best Buy or something, it's always hard to distinguish because all they have to do is someone go in there with a bigger head than you and like stretches that out, and other people try it and you feel like, oh, these work, and then you get it home and you're like, oh god, it hurts. Like the padding. People want good stuff, right? People want good stuff and they want to pay for good stuff. This is why people with lower incomes, they have to save up. Where people with higher incomes, they can just buy it instantly. All right, let's go with the next three. The A40s, can't recommend enough. Still strong 7 years later. Yeah, if Sarge is here, I forget. He bought a pair, and I think it was the A40s. I have a buddy who only buys those cheap $20 ones. Muffled shit, better just spend the money. Yeah, because here's the way I look at it, right? Here's the way I look at it, Dolphin. If you buy a headset for $20 and you're getting rid of it 3 months in, okay, it's like shitty, and you buy another one, and then you buy another one. You're buying like 3 or 4 of them. So why not just buy one headset that lasts a year and a half, or buy a more expensive headset that'll last you like 3-6 years, you know? The biggest problem with headsets is the cable, right? If you buy a shitty headset, the cable goes, and then that's done. Which ones are those, boss? Let me look those up. I don't know which ones. Oh, the Razer brand. Okay. Got it. I've been using HyperX, I would say, for the better half of a decade now. And those are really good. They don't say low income, they say disposable income. Well, the article that we had, they said low income. The article that we just read, Sarge, said low income. I won't buy a $30 headset anymore. I won't. I have brand loyalty. Razer has always been a PC accessory company. Am I the only one getting annoyed by crafting in every single game? Like, I miss when you get better gear and fighting. Well, then stop buying games where you craft, Travis. That's simple. If you're if you're tired of crafting stuff, then stop playing games where you craft stuff. Chris says I have a surround 7.4 4.2 surround sound system and only want the headset for chat. Cheap as shit, but open ear so it doesn't interfere with the special. See, that's another problem, right? So I used to have a home theater, right? This is before I was dad, right? I had a home theater. I had a big ass screen. I used to have a surround sound system. This is what I had. But then we had a baby, right? And now my baby's 9 years old. But we had a baby, and then I couldn't use the sound system anymore, right? I couldn't use the 7.4 Dolby surround sound system anymore because the baby's sleeping. So then I had the headphones, and I put the headphones on, and then I couldn't use the headphones at full thing because I was watching the baby, right? So I had to keep one headphone off so I could hear the baby, right? So then my whole existence of what I wanted to do was out the window. And then reality set in. I was like, well, now I went from surround sound, immersive, shooting first-person shooters to immersive headset to the thing to one ear off. I can't hear anyone that's sneaking up on my left side of me type of situation. And that's what happens, right? That's what happens. Now, I'm not even competitive anymore. I don't play really. I don't even care if someone sneaks up on me. I'm like, well, that's the reason they killed me, right? So even here, right? Even though my kid's 9 years old, I listen to the thing, and sometimes I can put my headset on now, right? Because I don't have to hear if he needs my help anymore because he'll come in and actually say something to me. I don't remember the name of the headset. I know it was a blue box. I think it was Astro. I mean, that's reality, Dustin. That's reality, right? And so many other people are in that situation, but they don't want to admit to themselves. That's what it was, right? We used to buy these giant speakers that were the size of the wall. You know what I mean? Back in the day. And then we had the bars, and then we had the Bose speakers, and you had all these cool sound systems. And now I can't do anything. I got these Boston acoustic speakers that have been running, and I shit you not. These are the same Boston acoustic speakers from 1996, okay, that are on my PC right now. They work great. They sound great, right? 1996. I got them when I got a Gateway PC back in 1996, and that's what I'm using for my speakers for my computer right now. Remember Gateway, the freaking the cow boxes that they used to have? That was my first. That was my first DVD. My own was it 96? 5. It was 96. My own personal DVD player. It was in my room with my computer. We were living large, man. We were living large. My family didn't even have a DVD player in the house. I had the first DVD player. I think my screen was, I think it was 19 inches. 19-inch CRT. Living large. Yeah. What's a DVD player? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, because I didn't have actual cable television in my room. I had an old school uh old school knob television that only got a couple stations, and then when I was in middle school, I got my first television set. It had basic cable and stuff on it, but I used it for my Nintendo and whatnot. I used it for Nintendo, Super NES, N64, and the big TV out in the living room that we used to play on was a Sony all-in-one inclusive. This thing was a tank. This thing was what size screen was that, Sarge? What size screen was that Sony entertainment system? the 70s. Oh. Let me see if I can find it. It was a giant TV. All in one, record player, speakers were built in. There it is. Here it is. This is what my family had. Is there a bigger what is this? This is the this thing was built like a Cadillac. This thing right here. This is it. This is the all-in-one. Right? It had a storage cabinet down here to put the tapes in, the Betamax tapes in. It had a Betamax player up here. Right? It had a built-in radio. It had a analog clock. This little trap door open. It had little knobs to twist for, to tune in your television set. This thing, I forget what size the television was. This thing price the year it first came out was $2,200. $2,200. 19-inch. 19-inch. That's what me and Sarge played on. That's our TV. That's what we played on in our main living room. That was it. That's the hours we put in for our Nintendo, the Atari, Nintendo. This thing, you could murder somebody with this thing if you could lift it up. Like if you drop that on something, they're dead. You need 5 grown men to lift this thing up. This thing was gigantic. This thing was gigantic. Oh, it was the That's right. It was the bad guy base for our toys. You would open up that container at the bottom, and it had the storage. Yeah. Oh, it was. Yeah, see? Look, you can see I used to play with these knobs all the time as a kid because I wanted to play with them. Because look at all the buttons and knobs on the thing, right? Kids just play with buttons and knobs. So my mom and dad would be like, "Why does the TV look bad?" Because I would mess with the colors. I would mess with the colors because I was pretending I was like on a spaceship as I was playing. And then my first TV in my room was this thing. Sort of like this thing. Hold on. It was like yeah, it was probably something like this. Yeah, it was something like this. This is my something. This wasn't it, but it was something like this, where had the yeah. Don't try to. That's how clear it was. That's not because of the picture. That's exactly how clear it was. It was really shitty. Can you imagine? My iPad right now, Mo, is the same size, if not, I think a little bit bigger than the television that I played on. So, all right, let's go to the next story. Okay. So we do know that Baldur's Gate 3 sold upwards around 2.5 to 3 million copies before it launched, right? We don't know how much it sold after. Is there a number out there? The reason I'm asking is, let's see, is it Boulders? Boulders. We'll see. Yeah, so it says that, okay, so headquarters in Belgium claiming that the studio's last game sold 5.2 million copies on Steam as of August 16, 2023. According to the Bloomberg, Baldur's Gate 3 has sold over 2.5 million units during early access period. So Baldur's Gate has topped 5.2 million units sold on Steam. Now, the next topic we're talking about is Starfield. Starfield is now the best-selling game on Steam ahead of its launch. Now, ahead of its launch doesn't mean it sold to 5 just before. So, again, in this statement here, ahead of its launch, Baldur's Gate 3 sold 2.5 million units during early access period. So, we have to assume that something around 2.5 to 3 million copies have been sold right now for Starfield. Starfield is now the best-selling game on Steam ahead of launch. Okay. Counter-Strike Global Offensive almost always tops the bestseller list on Steam, except in the last few months. After a brief stint on top, Remnant 2 paved the way for Baldur's Gate 3, which then stayed there for a while, before Armored Core 6 Fires of Rubicon came to assume the position for a couple of days. Now it's Starfield's turn. Okay, Bethesda's long-anticipated RPG has triumphed over the heavyweights, but the fueling Starfield pre-launch acclaim. Now, a quick look at the Steam's ranking parameters gives us a hint. While CSGO's positioning at the top might raise eyebrows due to its free-to-play status, essentially a note to these charts are revenue-driven. This offers a unique perspective of Starfield's success. Priced at a hefty $70 for its base edition, it mirrors a broader industry trend where certain AAA titles have been price escalation, further sweetening the deal for fans. It's a $100 digital premium edition. This lavish package bestows early access, a much-anticipated story expansion, shattered space, in-game skins, and converted digital iterations of both soundtrack and art book. Okay, so Starfield has just taken the #1 spot on Steam. You can see here that it says weeks. Now, I'm assuming this is the number of 1 top of the charts or maybe on the charts. I'm not sure if it's the top of the charts. So Rubicon said it was there for 5 weeks. Counter-Strike was there for 576 weeks. Baldur's Gate's been there for 36 weeks, which doesn't make... Well, I guess it does make sense because it was out there for 2 years at some points, right? And then Starfield's been up on the charts, I guess, for 11 weeks, right? So recent events such as Starfield Direct following Xbox Game Showcase have propelled its demand, and exclusive Starfield-centric preparations seem to strike the right chords with gamers. A nod of approval from the recent industry events like Gamescom 2023 and the stream of fresh information over recent weeks has only intensified the excitement. After all, everyone can talk about now is Starfield, including explorable planets, how friendly it is to modders, and length, and new game plus mode, and a Netflix documentary that Pete Hines wants to watch. Now, between this recent revelation of the facts that is made by Bethesda Game Studios, who's behind the Elder Scrolls Skyrim, a game that enjoys unwavering popularity of Steam a decade after it launches, and Starfield is poised to enjoy one of the best-selling runs in recent years in the same year as Diablo 4, Final Fantasy 16, and Hogwarts Legacy all set records, right? It's pretty insane that all of these games are setting records in just 1 year. However, Bethesda's ambitions for Starfield seem to even grander. Phil Spencer, the head of Xbox, compares it more to Elder Scrolls 4, Oblivion than Skyrim. Early glimpses of gameplay mechanics like intriguing trait system have already captivated many, from choosing quirky traits like alien DNA and nostalgic enemies, such as the comebacks of adoring fan. Now, Starfield is shaping up as an RPG lover's dream. Naturally, some of the caution, though, has been exercised, and the ghost of the past haunted Bethesda, with previous title criticized its plethora of bugs. Now, while Microsoft assures that Starfield has given its delays and bolsters Q&A post-Bethesda acquisition, will be the most polished game that the studio has ever rolled out, some adopt it and seeing it and believing it approach. This is understandable, right? A permanent reminder that pitfalls over the overhyping is a Cyberpunk 2077. The initial reception for was merited as controversy. Players can had a sky-high expectations envisioning the revolutionary RPG experience, but where it met with numerous glitches, CD Projekt Red reputation took a hit, forcing them into a 2-year-long damage control exercise, and Bethesda will be keen to avoid any parallels. Now, but Starfield's ascent to the top, even before it released, undoubtedly is a testament of the magnetic appeal. Yet the RPG surges in isolation to Starfield alone. Games like Baldur's Gate 3, having received glowing reviews, have broadened the RPG player base, and the positive reception potentially uplifts titles like Starfield. And that's true, right? We talk about this, throughout the year. The tide raises all ships, right? And because RPGs come out, and someone had a good experience with one RPG, they're like, oh, there's another RPG coming out. They might give it a shot, right? Where before they're like, I don't know. So the significant benefit other titles genre like Armored Core 6 Fires of Rubicon. Now, ultimately, the gaming community is in for a treat, with the titles like Starfield, Baldur's Gate 3 releasing within a few weeks of each other, and only really quandary is managing the time to divide deep into both. With Starfield sales already soaring across various platforms, the game has sold millions of copies, raising expectations to the stratospheric levels. Okay. In the end, Starfield early triumph gets a stage, potentially record-setting launch, while the future of Stadia and hope that the game was truly be out of this world. Now, I said my prediction was that it would sell because I don't think as many people are going to buy it on Xbox. Now, it's saying people are not going to buy it on Xbox. I'm just saying less people would buy it on Xbox. Here we are, because PC community, Bethesda is a PC gaming company, let's be honest, right? That's what it was. That's what it's always been known for. So right now, potentially they've sold anywhere between 2.5 to 3 million copies. I said total it would sell 3.5 to 5.2 million copies. And then I said everything else would be on Game Pass. Right now, I think I still feel pretty confident that the 3 million, if it stays like that for PC, let's say it's at 4 million, I still think less people will buy it overall on Xbox than they would be on PC. Okay? So I think I have a good shot at being close. We'll see what the pre-sales are, or what the sales are. But the record of amount of people, okay, that are going to wait for Game Pass, or this little deal they're doing. If you guys didn't know, let me bring this up real fast. I mentioned this last night on our stream, but if you did this, here's a trick that you can do. If you play Starfield, right? If you're playing Starfield early with Game Pass trick, okay? So you have Game Pass, but you don't want to spend $100 on the Starfield edition to play early. You don't have to, okay? What Microsoft has done is they've made it super easy for you, okay? So for $31, I think now, because if you're a Game Pass member, I think they're giving you a 10% discount. So they're giving you a $3 discount off of this. So it was $34, but now it's $31. You can now grab the game. So on your Xbox, okay, on Xbox PC Game Pass, Starfield will be free to play with a subscription, of course. That means that when the game is released on September 6th, you can jump in and start exploring the vast, almost endless environment of the boasted staggering of 1,000 plans on all web discovery. Now, for a grand cost of $34.99, you can get access to Starfield a whole 5 days early, and it's because of the free version that's on Game Pass that you can do so. So, if you navigate to Starfield's listing on the Xbox Store on console and PC, you'll see there's something called a Premium Edition upgrade. It's a price as well as just outline, and it basically rewards you the content featured in the Premium Edition, including the Old Mars Skin Pack, Shattered Space Story Expansion, Constellation Skin Pack, digital art books and soundtrack, and 5 days early access. Bethesda Game Studios has outright confirmed that by picking up the Premium Edition upgrade and pairing it with your free version of Xbox and PC Game Pass, you'll get access to the game early, and you'll secure all the lovely extra content on top of that. So, there you go. If you guys didn't know that, okay, right? If you guys didn't know that, and you're looking going, oh, I want to play it early, but I can't play it early because I don't feel like spending $100, and you have Game Pass, well, now you can get it for $31. You get the expansion, right, which gets you the expansion. It also gets you, for $31, basically you get the expansion, Shattered Space Story Expansion, and 5 days early access, right? You get all this, but really, I think this is the big one. right? You get the expansion for $31, right? Let me see what you guys are saying in chat here. I'm doing the math wrong, but Baldur's Gate 3 sold 2.5 before launch and 5 million post-launch, and this is mostly on Steam. When is Starfield has been beaten it on Steam? Wouldn't that mean they're sold 7+ million? Okay, let me read that again. I'm doing the math wrong, but if Baldur's Gate 3 sold 2.5 million before launch and 5 million post-launch, no, 5 million total. It's not 5 million after launch. It's 2.5 after launch on Steam, right? Let me go back. Where was that? Where were we with that? Yeah. Founded in still headquarters. Okay. The latest game has sold 5.2 million copies on Steam. As of August 16th, according to Bloomberg, Baldur's Gate 3 has sold over 2.5 million units during its early access period. Okay, it's total. The latest game has sold 5.2 million. It's not 5.2 plus the 2.5. It's total 5.2, and early access sold 2.5. And that's just Steam. That's not including PlayStation that's coming out. That's literally just Steam. Just Steam. Because you can only buy the early access on Steam, and now it's only on Steam. I'm really not buying. People are buying Starfield more than Baldur's Gate 3. I imagine 60% of the consumers are going through Game Pass. Well, no. That's not. That's listen. The stat that we're giving you for where is it? Where the hell was it now? I lost it. The stat for this, boss, for Starfield is the best-selling game right now. Okay, it's surpassed Baldur's Gate 3 as the top sellers. This is just Steam. Just Steam. Okay? Meaning it's sold more than what Steam has, and Steam is at the 5 million total. So right now, potentially, this could be at like 5.21, right? It's sold more than what they have. Right? That's what the number is saying. And I think that's correct for the Steam number. I think less people are going to buy it for Xbox because of Game Pass. But now you have this deal that they're doing, right? This deal that they're doing where people that have Game Pass, now they're getting $30 out of those people, right? Now they're getting $30 out of those people. So if 2 people buy the $30 premium one to get it 5 days early access, that technically is like another game sale, right? Where else would you buy Baldur's Gate 3? You can't right now, except for PlayStation, but they don't put those numbers in because it hasn't launched yet. You see what I'm saying? They're only saying the Steam charts. So Starfield has surpassed Baldur's Gate as the top sellers. I'm sure they counted me and the fluffer of the cancellation, but I just canceled my $99 to do the $30 upgrade. There you go. Yeah, so they would count you, and then who knows? Morning, chapter 8. No, you're good. You're good. Yeah, I just want to make sure that's what it was. The pre-early of early access was 2.5 million. They've sold that 2 years prior, right? So it was in early access for 2.5 years for those people, and they sold 2.5 million before the game came out. And then they sold an additional 2.5 million. Plus the consolation edition is $300 version sold out instantly online for both Xbox and PC. Not sure how many there are, but saying something as well. Mike, that $30 had been going on, so who knows how many folks bought that? I know it did, and know a few who did as well. Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people bought it. I'm sure a ton of people bought it. I would have bought it. I would have bought it, Bo. Curious to see how Spider-Man 2 sells. Well, here's the difference, though, Travis, right? Here's the difference. You're comparing apples and oranges, right? yes, Starfield's only on Microsoft, right? But it's also on, excuse me, it's also on PC. Where Spider-Man is literally only on PlayStation 5. So your install base for PlayStation 5 right now is like 40 million. Not everyone that has when there was double that for Spider-Man 1, okay? When there was 100 triple that, 122 million PlayStations out there, Spider-Man 1 only sold, I say only, but I'm saying only in the context of there's 122 million PlayStation 4s out there and it only sold 5 million units at launch. So to think that Spider-Man 2 is going to do that with just 40 million is going to be a hard sell. It could, because Spider-Man is a huge seller. But it's only selling to PlayStation 5. It's not coming out on PlayStation 4 at all. Is that correct? Me and my mates did the $30 upgrade as we're all Game Pass. One of our mates got it for a $100 version. That's what I'm saying. It's very smart on Microsoft's part, right? Because a lot of people are like, "Oh, I'm not gonna buy the game. I'll just buy the update," and they still got $30 out of you. And then down the road, you might purchase the game, right? I don't know. If they ever take it off, they'll be like, "Hey, we're giving you a discount. Here you go." They're not gonna take it off. It's a first party title, so that would be stupid. If Microsoft took off their first party titles off Game Pass, that would be a dumb move, in my opinion. I wasn't comparing, just I was wondering how Spider-Man 2 sells. Didn't mean as a competition, just period. Oh, I got you. I bought the physical $30 upgrade from Best Buy, so I can get all the physical goodies like the iron patch and stuff. Thoughts on Sony announcing PlayStation 5 Slim when Starfield launches? Did they, or are, I'm asking Titan. I didn't see the news. Did they announce a Slim, or are you saying are they going to announce? Did they announce it? PlayStation 5 drops to historical low. PlayStation 5 Slim launch rumors. 10 hours ago, drop PlayStation 5 Slim Pro. How much do you expect? Is this the PlayStation 5 Slim? That's 2 weeks ago. I don't see. So, okay. Thoughts on. So, I guess you're asking a question. Thoughts on Sony announcing the PlayStation 5 Slim when Starfield launches? I mean, they could, but do you think, my question to you now, Titan, is do you think that if PlayStation does announce a PlayStation 5 Slim when Starfield launches, is that going to affect the sales of people that are already buying the Slim? I mean, already buying Starfield? I don't think people that are playing Starfield are like, I'm gonna spend $70 and they're announcing Slim and they're gonna like dish over the $70. I can see them trying to take away some of the banter, you know what I mean? That's going on with Starfield, but I don't think it does anything to affect Starfield or take the wind out of the sail of Xbox with Starfield. I think it would actually be kind of stupid if they announced the PlayStation 5 Slim during this whole thing of Starfield going on. PlayStation has more gamers than Xbox. It's unlikely they have more gamers than PC, but let's say they do, for an argument's sake. Very unlikely that PlayStation have more gamers than both combined. Yeah, but it's the install base. There's only 40 million units compared to when Spider-Man came out originally. There was 122 million units, right? So it's going to be really hard, right? And if it does, that's a huge success. If they sell 5 million units, 5 million, 5.5 million with a 40 million install base, that's a goddamn, like, that's not just a win. That's like winning the lottery. That's like super, like, great for PlayStation, because that's a lot of people to buy a game for such a small. That means everybody that was a hardcore Spider-Man fan that originally get it is the same people that bought the PlayStation 5 now. Go on, what's up? I just saw the news that Starfield now took #1 spot above Baldur's Gate 3. Still think it's also should win Game of the Year. It should be between Baldur's Gate and this. I don't know. I'm not going to... Here's the thing. It's always fun to pick who you think's going to win. I don't care who wins Game of the Year. My thing is nominations for the Game of the Year, right? And we have a poll up on our Discord that people can vote. It's open up to the general public. We keep bringing it up. We have a poll going on our Discord. Right now, we have... Right now, leading for nominations. This is not who we think's going to win. This is what games we think are going to be nominated. Top 6 games for nomination. Right now, Hogwarts Legacy is in 1 position. We have Legend of Zelda Kingdom in 2 position. We have Starfield in the 3rd position for the 3rd nomination. We have Spider-Man 2 for the 4th position. We have Baldur's Gate 3 for the 5th position. And we have Final Fantasy 16 for the 6th position. So that's who our... Wait, is that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 6. Yep. Well, the sim definitely won't be $70, so yeah. No, I get that. What I'm saying is just releasing it at that time. I mean, I think you would get the same outcome releasing it or not releasing it another day. I don't think you're going to have this. It's just for PlayStation people, right? Oh, last night I went to Costco. I meant to take a picture. They had PlayStation 5s, okay? They had Xbox Series S's, and they had Xbox X's. Now, this means nothing. This is just from my Costco, from my area, right? Each their own for theirs, but this is what I saw. You know how they have those cards? They're just the cardboard cards that were in there. PlayStation had, in the top row, they had, I think there was 12 missing, right? 12 missing out of, like, I don't know, each one holds, I don't know, 15, and each one. So there was 12 missing total out of theirs, okay? The S's were almost completely empty. Okay, the S's were almost completely empty. And the X's were, I would say, 2/3 gone. Okay? And I was like, oh, well, this is interesting. So it makes me wonder if a bunch of people went to Costco and are buying Xboxes because of Starfield. It'd be like the Oprah effect right now, right? People are so hyped, they're just buying Xboxes. So... not to say that they're winning over PlayStation. It's just what I noticed from the cards missing from the boxes. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? Where they have those big, thick cards. They're like 1 foot by like 6, by like 9 inches, like a sheet of paper, but it's cardboard. Come on, Dundee. Yeah, well, that was the real thing. Oh, and they also had the Quest Meta, or is it called Quest Meta or Meta Quest? Meta Quest, right? Meta Quest. They had the Meta Quest next to all those, and those were about halfway sold as well. So VR looks like it's selling pretty well as well. Again, I'm taking a small sample of a small sample from my Costco in my area. Yeah, Costco never lies. Somebody would just keep me in mind. Any game that's nominated for Game of the Year and put it on their box and actually winning doesn't matter that much. Right. Because it's just Game of the Year edition, right? Game of the Year edition, it helps promote that and whatnot. I said 95. Oh, I think it's going to beat the highest one, which I believe. Can we look it up? I got it. I think it's Skyrim. I think Skyrim was at 94. I forget if I get it mixed up again. Is it Skyrim at 94 or was it Fallout 4 at 94? I think it's Skyrim at 94. I think this one gets a 95. Titan says general public doesn't care about graphics. Cost #1. Yeah, when I tell you the S was almost out, they completely almost sold out. This is exactly why, in our small little sampling here, this is why Microsoft is pushing the S. With all the hype of the super sales, Xbox sales skyrocketing. Not saying it will. It will. I really doubt it will. But if Starfield fails or comes out buggy and broken, does it kill the image of Microsoft or no? Good question. It's a good question, boss. I think that for the hardcores, for you and me, and for majority of the people in chat, I think I think it kind of tarnishes it a little bit. But the saying that, I still think people like Mo or people like me are still going to buy games for my Series X, right? I'm not mad at I'm not boycotting Microsoft because of what they did, but the next time around when they come out with the next Xbox, I'm not buying day one. You know what I mean? I'm gonna hold back and make sure that what they say the box does. I think because of the situation, I know you're not gonna like this answer, but because Game Pass is Game Pass, it's such a good deal for, again, the hardcores look at this and they're gonna play games regardless. Okay, they're gonna buy games where they want, how they want, when they want, on what system they want. Where the clientele that they're marketing towards, they don't know any better. So if Starfield comes out broken, buggy, I don't think it kills the Microsoft brand. Just like Phil Spencer said, Halo Infinite is not going to make or break the franchise. I don't think Starfield or Redfall or Halo, even combined, make or break the Microsoft brand, which is Game Pass now. I don't. I have a Series X and a PC because since the Xbox Play Anywhere, I have Game Pass. So once I bought the premium early access upgrade, you get it automatically for both of them. Nice. Captor 8 says, makes sense. I held off for buying a PlayStation 5 until I needed one for Horizon Forbidden West. I'm holding off as well. Last night, I thought about it for a split second. I was like, all right, I have money. Should I buy a PlayStation 5? Because it's there, right? I'm like, it's there. But then I was like, I don't need it yet. And there'll be a sale something down the road. You know what I mean? I honestly feel like at this point, as long as Starfield is decent, a decent game, there's no way it can fail. And I kind of agree with that. It can hurt. It could hurt if it comes out like Cyberpunk did, right? For sure. But I think it goes away real fast with the next thing that comes out. I would say Spider-Man 2 nominations will be the best story-driven and in-game music. The Jedi Survivor nomination will be the music. My guesstimation, Travis says, is the Starfield launch at the 95, but will be brought down by review bombing. Well, see, I think it'll be a 95 with the review bombs. They'll do something. You know what I mean? I still think Metacritic or whatever the take away the ridiculousness, Travis, right, of the review bombs. I think it's going to score 95. I still think I said it'll be the highest scoring game that Bethesda's made, is what I said. I am going to stream Thursday night after the podcast, Mo. I'm going to play so we don't ruin anything for anybody. I'm literally going in. I mean, obviously, by playing the game, I'm kind of ruining it for people, but I'm going to go in and I'm not going to play the game as per se, like going on story missions or anything. I'm going to kind of explore and just kind of go through and look at things. I mean, Cyberpunk didn't ruin CD Projekt Red, so I don't think Starfield will ruin Microsoft. Well, their stock price got ruined, Travis, and they've been hurting for 2 years. With these people that are, the difference though is CD Projekt Red is just CD Projekt Red, where Microsoft is this conglomerate company. You know what I mean? Would these people that are buying Xbox for Starfield be hardcores, or Game Pass be enough to justify the purchase just for Starfield? I don't know. I mean, there's people that weren't Baldur's Gate fans and they bought Baldur's Gate. So are they D&D fans, or were they just curiosity of the hype and they bought into Baldur's Gate 3? I think it's a little bit of both, boss. I think some people would be buying Xbox because they might be a Bethesda fan. Maybe they played a Bethesda game in the past, and they never bought one because Fallout 76 was the last game that came out. And before that was Fallout. So maybe they haven't made a game since the last system, and now they're buying this one to get in. Maybe? Would that be considered a hardcore guy? Maybe they come in for Game Pass for Starfield, and then they stay for everything else. Trying to sell Game Pass, even if Starfield bombs, they still buy Game Pass for other games, right? And that's the beautiful part of it, right? That's why they're pushing Game Pass. I'm ignoring user reviews on Metacritic. I'll check other sites. I think it hits 91, but with bombs, it gets knocked down to an 88. I figured Travis already has 1,000 Metacritic accounts review bombing for player score. What's going on, Mr. Grimm? I was a hardcore Xbox guy back in the OG Xbox and 360 days, but never since the Red Ring of Death. I switched back to PlayStation. I still, however, play Microsoft games on PC. There you go. So, Mr. Grimm, are you going to play Starfield? Right? Are you going to play Starfield, or are you skipping it out because I know you say you play Microsoft games on PC, so are you going to play Starfield? I think I'm just going to look at the character. I don't know if I'll make my character, Mo, on stream. I think we'll look at the traits and whatnot, but I think I'm just going to jump in the game just to look at it. You know what I'm saying? Because one, if I just do that, then I'm not ruining anything. Maybe I will. Maybe I will, but then that will be the whole stream, wouldn't it? Wouldn't that be the whole stream, though, Mo? If I just start making my character, making Jack on stream, that would take like an hour. A spike around the announcement in their latest expansion, too. Remember when the Red Ring of Death wrapping your 360 in towels, blankets to try to fix it? Yeah. Yeah, which was dumb because what was happening... What was happening, Reese, if you guys remember, is that the ports were getting so hot in there that they would disconnect from the actual Xbox itself. All you were trying to do was cool down so the adhesive would stay on the actual board. Go for it. Look, this is gonna be wild. This is gonna be wild, and I'll come out and say I was wrong that Starfield sold. I was like, who's gonna buy it? But here's another thing: 12 million people bought Skyrim. 12 million people bought Fallout. 12 million people bought Fallout 3. Do we think 12 million sales happen for Starfield, or do we think that 7 million happen and then the rest played on Game Pass type of thing? That would think about that, though. That is an insane number. If they hit the same numbers they were hitting when they were on all 3 systems, and now they're only hitting it on 2, that's insane. Then you'll have people, right? Then you'll say people will be like, well, they would have sold more. They would have sold more if it was on PlayStation. And you'll be like, holy Christ, how many would they sell? Jesse Max says 30. You do make your character off stream and play the game on Steam. And don't waste your Steam just making your character. Well, stream on character. Well, here's the thing. I stream that night. It goes live when we go live for GXG. Okay? And because I'm doing the podcast, I have no time to make my character beforehand. So literally after the stream, I'm going right into my next stream, which would be live for Starfield. So I wouldn't have time to do anything to make a character. It would either make the character, just jump in, go whatever, and then jump into the game just to see what's happening, and then reset it afterwards, or make my character on stream. Oh, Tim is talking about the. Hold on. Let's get Tim. Someone tell Tim he's behind because he's not live right now. He's watching when we're talking about the headset. $5 million rest Game Pass. That was my prediction, Rose. I said between 3.2 and 5.2. Actually, I said 3.5 and 5.2 million, and then the rest is Game Pass. That's what I said, which is phenomenal, by the way. Bo says, make Jack on screen. I think even more will buy it, excluding Game Pass players. The gaming landscape has expanded since Skyrim and Fallout. I think the sales will reflect it. You're not wrong. Not wrong. I just think the problem is the player base, right? The player base of the install base for Xbox Series S and X is only 22 million units. Right? So hear me out here. If 5 million people get it on, or 3 million people get it on PC, on Steam, or 5 million people, that alone is more than the sales of Fallout 3, right? Here, let me look it up, right? We had it the other day. Fallout 3 sales first week. Okay. First week sales, where is it? Fallout 3 ships 4.7 million in first week. That's across everything, right? 4.7 million in the first week. That's across PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. To say that Starfield alone will get 5 million just on, that's insane. That's an insane number. Okay, especially when the player base of Xbox is 22 million. Okay, Fallout 4 first week. Okay, Fallout 4 sold 5.1 million first week worldwide at retail. Okay, again, that's across all platform. And then Skyrim sold 7 million units, and that's again all three systems again. So to think that they're gonna, if they hit 7 million units, sold 7 million units on PC and Xbox alone, that's insane. Because even if 2 million people buy it, that's what, 10%? That's a 10% buy-in rate for the 22 million Xboxes that are out there. That's insane. Sorry, from what I understand, sorry to hit behind because I'm something IRL, but Xbox sales have increased by 800 to 1,000%. I also personally know about 20 people who prefer a PlayStation and bought an Xbox or traded it in. Even if it goes up to like, let's say a miraculous number switches from 22 million user base to 30 million user base. To get a 10% number of your initial user base, your opt-in unit, okay, that's an insane number. It's insane. And I'm not saying it can't happen. I'm saying it's insane if they sell 3 million units on Xbox, right? Between the S and X. Not even Steam. Just saying they sold 3 to 5 million just on Xbox out of a 22 to 30 million. That is amazing numbers. Amazing numbers. One said something earlier up there. He's still talking to Tim is behind. He's still talking about the headset. It's the pilot episode. I mean, we could do it. I mean, I don't care, Mo. I'll stay up for like 2-3 hours and past midnight or whatever. How are you finding Starfield, or is it too early for you to say? Diggler, I haven't looked up anything, right? I've seen what Bethesda is showing from the showcases and whatnot. We looked at a couple of interviews with Todd Howard and whatnot. I saw the controversy of the boundary thing. We talked about that yesterday's show. I think it's being blown out of proportion for that particular thing. I think the game, and I'm coming in with expectations pretty mediocre right now for me. Not to say that the game's mediocre. I'm saying my expectations are pretty leveled right now. A part of me wants the game to be. I love Bethesda games. I loved Oblivion and Morrowind and Skyrim and Fallout 3 and Fallout 4. I played Fallout 76. Didn't love it, but I played it. I enjoyed it, I should say. I think this is just going to be along the lines of the same type of stuff they've already put. And what Bethesda's known for is a RPG story-driven element, and that's what Bethesda's known for. So people going in thinking that Starfield is going to be like No Man's Sky open world survival, I think they're putting their expectations in the wrong category. You know, you can explore and do stuff, but I think if you're looking at this game as that game, you're in the wrong genre. I think that's where the people's expectations are going to get pretty wrecked. What's going on, Tim? You were completely in a different conversation, which is fine, which is just funny because you were saying stuff, and I was like, what is he talking about? He's talking about the headset. Chapter 8 says, I think that a lot of Game Pass people will buy it after launch if it's that good to show their support or something they love. Even a tenth of them is a lot. That's what I'm saying, Chapter 8. To have a 30, let's just say 30 million out there. We're making a big assumptions here, right? 30 million Xboxes are out there by like Christmas or whatever. And to have, technically the number I'm talking about, the 5 million, is the first week. I'm not talking about total sales, right? It's like the first week. So to have 30 million people own an Xbox and 5 million off Xbox alone, that's an insane number. Trading in their current gen for another current gen system makes no sense to me. I think the same way. Like, I'm not going to get rid of my Xbox to turn in for a PlayStation. I would just save up and buy a PlayStation, right? I personally wouldn't trade in my Xbox for a PlayStation, and I wouldn't take my PlayStation, trade it in for an Xbox. One, I like collecting and keeping my systems. The only reason I got rid of my 3 is because the 4 was backwards compatible. The only reason I got rid of my original Xbox is because the 360 was backwards compatible. So I could play all my Xbox One games on my 360. It's like a redundancy, you know what I mean? It is, since Microsoft is under the microscope. It's basically the game being a final hope for a lot of people. Every little thing is getting blown out of proportion. Oh, for sure. Nobody who gets it on Game Pass is buying it, though. Why would you? Well, here's the thing, though, Rose, and I agree with that 100% statement. But now what they did was they added the premium edition as an upgrade. So sure, you're not buying the game of Starfield, but now, because the hype is so big, people are buying the upgrade for $31 to get the story expansion that comes out at a later date. You get a whole bunch of other stuff, right? This is what we talked about just a little bit ago. You're with this upgrade edition, you're getting the Old Mars skin pack, you're getting Shattered Space story expansion, which is the first story expansion. You're getting the Constellation skin pack, you're getting the digital art book and soundtrack, and you're getting 5 days early access. So the people that don't buy Starfield still don't have to buy Starfield, but now they're getting $30 out of those people to get a 5 days early access and the expansion. Right? So you're right, and I'm right, that why would you buy the game? But now people are buying into upgrade, get the expansion, and also get the 5 days early access so they can play along with everybody else. No, it doesn't count as a copy sold. You're correct there, but I'm just saying that people are now spending money on a thing they wouldn't have spent money on because they would just wait for Game Pass, but now they get to play it 5 days early, and they still have the base game for basically for the subscription model. I don't want to say free. I'm ready for Game Pass servers to go down from traffic. Do you think so? You think that's going to happen? Now that would be bad. That would be worse, in my opinion, Kylo, than the game suffering. Tim says, I've been through a lot of console wars since the first Xbox, ever since it's crazy it takes. Bias, double standards, as of around Starfield conversation on both sides, honestly. You can buy a full game later on in sales. Sure. Let's see. Diggler says, I'm a Game Pass Ultimate subscriber, and I've purchased the premium edition of Starfield. I use Game Pass to try out the games and then purchase them. I'm also top tier on PlayStation Plus, so there you go. Sounds like Diggler sounds like a gamer. Chapter 8 says, I have been to be really poor to trade one in for another. Like, take me more than 6 months to save up for it poor, especially since you can do payments and do anything now. Sure. Well, remember when the conversation was, Chapter 8, that Xbox was literally letting you pay monthly payments? Like, you didn't have to pay anything for the first year to get an Xbox? Mo says, yeah, I bought the expansion, not the game. There you go. Kylo says, to Titan, not sure, honestly. I can see trading in the last-gen console for new gen, but the same gen for another same gen makes no sense to me. I kind of agree with that, but hey, each their own. Each their own. Sarge says, don't fucking buy day one. RC Records says, I have Game Pass and still bought Starfield. Actually, my first bought game on Xbox since I got it 1 month ago. There you go. Buddha Papa says, Chapter 8, they bought for games like Starfield, and games like Starfield aren't coming to the system. Hence, the move to Xbox. That's what I've been told. Is there a lot of people trading in their systems? Is that a thing? I know we read an article that one GameStop said that people are trading in, but, you know, that would just be like one. Someone comes in like, wait, you want to trade in your PlayStation for an Xbox? Travis says, to be honest, the reason people would buy it is one of the brainwashed into the cult Bethesda. Now you're, excuse me, Skyrim. Wait a minute. I mean, if you look, people want to play games that they want to play, right? People are excited for different things. Starfield is this different beast right now. The hype of Starfield is a completely different, pardon the pun here, different stratosphere. Like, the hype of Baldur's Gate 3 was a different stratosphere for a you know, an RPG type of game, but that's isometric. This is a first-person, third-person Bethesda RPG, right? Fallout 3 sold 12 million copies. Fallout 4 sold 15 million copies. Skyrim sold 55 million copies. This is the developer we're talking about. If it's good, I'll probably buy it on PC if it gets discounted based on the upgrade purchase. I have to buy Xbox first because I'm traveling this weekend. Can't tote my PC around. I'm probably... So I got a code for Xbox. Okay? And I think Akuda Papa said I could still use it for PC, but if I can't, I'll probably buy it for PC because I want to be on part of the modder community where they put stuff in the game and I can play it. Because I missed out on that on Skyrim. Oh, for sure, Tim. It is genius. Because they go, well, who's going to buy this exactly? Here's the boardroom. Ready? Are you ready for this? Everyone's like, all right, we're going to put Starfield. Well, how do we get people to buy it? Why would they buy it if it's on Game Pass? And someone goes, let's put the expansion out. Let's put the expansion out and give them 5 days early access on Game Pass. And then we'll charge $30. And they're like, that's genius. That's genius. Because not only are you getting the expansion, the first expansion that comes out for Starfield, right? Which you're going to pay for anyway. Because if you like Starfield, you're going to buy the expansion down the road, right? But we also give them the 5-day early access. So the people that weren't going to buy Game Pass, okay, or weren't going to buy Starfield, pardon me, okay, they now pay $31 and they get 5 days early access, and we got them. They're in Game Pass. Do you know what I mean? Because now, if you buy it, you're not in Game Pass, right? Let's say you are, but you bought it anyway. But the other people that are in Game Pass, now they've invested even more. $30. They have the expansion pack, and they get to play 5 days early access. We got them. Got them. How did that thing go? Oh, there it goes. It would be catastrophic failure if day one Game Pass servers go down. It would be an absolute cluster. Yeah, absolute cluster. No, Mo, I know you're a gamer, but when I say a person that has all systems is a person that's not doing what you do or what Boss does or what Travis does. They just buy the game and play the game where they want. They don't have a preference. They just play the game, right? So when I say a gamer, you could be a gamer, but what I'm saying is a person that has all the systems, they're not a pony, they're not a bot, right? They're just right. You could pay for the premium edition anytime. You don't have to get it day one. I've heard of massive movements, not sure if it's confirmed, for shifting from PlayStation to Xbox. Is that true, Okudabapa? Is that what you're talking about? Rose says no, it's being overblown. What's being overblown? That people are moving, shifting? Rose, is that what you're also saying? I was hyped for Starfield, but I'm hyped went through the roof with well, Phil Spencer said he liked Oblivion. They're letting you preload the game now, so those servers shouldn't be an issue. We're just saying, Ford, if it does happen, that's going to be catastrophic. Boss says D4 is really bad spot right now. Blizzard is too out of touch with the fan base. They want Path of Exile has much better. Boss, when they announced the second season of D4, 4 weeks into the first season, I was like, oh boy, they're in trouble. They're in trouble. Travis says, I'll be honest, the only reason I don't have an Xbox is the lack of funds. If I could afford one, both I would. Shut up, Travis. Shut up, Travis. It's not because of your funds. You could never, you're not allowed to own an Xbox. You told me you would never buy an Xbox. Get out of here. You said you would be caught dead playing an Xbox. Get out of here with that shit. Those are his words. Those are his words. He said I wouldn't be caught dead playing an Xbox. That's great. You can change your rules every time you want. I'm still going to throw it in your face, the things that you said in my stream, because you don't think before you type. Coming in here, I could change my process anytime I want. Great. I'm still going to call your shit. Go complain to the customer service line. I wouldn't go as far as game of the year, but wholeheartedly agree. Oh, what did Boss say? Did I miss what Boss said? Very bad sign. You should not be talking about season 2 1 month into season 1. Oh, for sure. Like, it was just bad. $3,000 years ago when the strength of men failed. I remember that conversation very detailed, Travis. I said, never say never. I said, never say never. You were going back and forth with me, and I said, don't ever say never. Mike, do you think Avowed or Towerborn will be in the third quarter first party? Third quarter this year? I don't think Avowed's coming out this year. I don't think Avowed's coming out this year. I think Avowed will come out early next year. I don't think so. You guys like this? We have these conversations every morning with news stories and whatnot. Make sure you hit that like button. It helps us out here. The beauty and power of Starfield. Getting to Travis. Oh man. I mean, unless we get a year where there's no video games at all, I will never have one. I spent close to 500 on games this year alone. Go again with the I will never have one. Here we go again. 5 seconds after he said if he had the money, he'd buy one. Now he's coming back. I will never have one. For God's sakes. Yeah, you can't make this stuff up, chat. You can't make this stuff up. You think Avowed, Tim, is going to be 2025? Bill Spencer said 4 games a year. Yeah, Jesse, we're going to talk about that in a second. I swear, if I find a Fallout Easter egg or a vault in Starfield, I'm going to lose my mind. Records. I said this the other day, right? We were playing Fallout 76. I played it last week. We played Fallout 76 last week. And again this week I said it last night when we were playing. I said I'm pretending my character, because I have a character we call Jack Burton, okay? And he's playing the character in my Fallout 76 game. And I say I'm pretending that my character is trying to get off the fucking planet so he can fly up into the sky, and Starfield is going to be the same character, right? And he's going to be in cryogenic frozen chamber, and then he wakes up in Starfield, and that's where we wake up, right? So it's going to be the same character from Fallout to Starfield. And I said, how cool would it be if I could go to Earth, go to DC, and you see the remnants of where Fallout was, right? That would be pretty freaking cool. I know most people wouldn't give a shit about it, but I'd be like, man, that would be one hell of an Easter egg. Oh, you damn right you got backstory, right? We got my Jack Burton character from Fallout 76. His ass is trying to get off the planet because of the destiny. He knows it's gonna get killed off, so he's gonna fly up to space in the cryogenically frozen chamber and live his life as a space captain, pirate, or whatever. Smuggler. I don't know what we're doing yet. We're going to be doing something. Doubt there'll be a vault, but we'd definitely be, it would be cool. You're right. It probably won't be a vault, but it would be cool. Wouldn't it be cool? Wouldn't it be cool if you could see a vault just buried or something? Or you get it's probably just going to be a piece of paper you're going to pick up. Ancestors that were trapped in vaults. That would confirm that it's in the same universe, right? That would confirm it's in the same universe, Chapter 8. Did they ever say, did Todd Howard or Pete Hines or anybody ever say that it takes place in the same universe? That'd be really cool. It doesn't happen if it starts saying the game is trash. Right. Right. Oh, I can't believe they didn't put Fallout 3 inside of Starfield. Can you imagine this, though? Hear me out here. I said this last night as well. Imagine that they did put Fallout 3 inside, okay, or Fallout 4 inside of the map. So you land there and you start walking around and you see like Washington, D.C. You look how big the map is. And then you go past where the map was in the regular game, and then you hit the wall and be like, well, it's still stupid. Even though you just walked through Fallout 3, map size, and then hit the end of the wall, people would still be pissed off there's a freaking wall. They would walk 10 minutes straight past the Fallout 3 map and look at all the stuff and go, oh, this game is shit. If you could find a vault on Earth, it would be cool. It would be cool, Tim. No New Vegas, Starfield, 0 out of 10. Or Elder Scrolls somewhere in the museum. Well, didn't they show? See, that's what I don't understand. Didn't they show in one of the Kylo? Didn't they show in one of the trailers or whatever? There was a statue, right? There was a statue that they were looking at in the trailer. Wasn't that one of the guy's ancestors from Skyrim? Or am I wrong about that? You know what I'm talking about? There was a statue of somebody in one of the clips, and they said it might be like an ancestor from someone from Skyrim, which would be pretty cool. Which means if that means Skyrim's in the same universe, but you know, thousands and thousands of years ago. Not sure if I have to look into the cause of that would be awesome. Let me see. Or let's go to a Starfield trailer. I think it was the Starfield. Was it the direct? It was the direct I saw? I'm just gonna fast forward a little bit and see if I can see. Where they talk about that's character creation, skills, ships, champions, base flight. Outposts, the combat. The hell is it? They talk about it. One of the things where they go to the city. Talks amongst yourselves as I look. Oh, this is gonna suck that I can't find it. Where they talk about the towns. It might not even be in the direct. I have the picture in my head what it was. I just don't know where it was. Yeah, I can't seem to find it. Tim, thank you very much for becoming a member. Appreciate that. People are thinking now that the tiles are connected to each other, and you can only have so many before. Yeah, so last night, Creature was talking about this. He said that you can only have, and I haven't done so much research, so I don't know. He might be 100% correct. He said that you could only have 5 tiles. So let's say 5 tiles is the exact same size as, I don't know, Fallout 76 map, right? So let's say the map of Fallout 76 is 4 tiles big. Okay. And then you have a 5th tile. It takes away, or if you go to the 6th tile, it takes away the 1st tile that you were at. Right. And the way my brain works is, well, if that's the case, if you walked in a straight line and had 5 tiles and you got to the 6th tile, would you ever go back to that 1st tile? You know what I mean? I don't know. I also heard that you can't connect the two. So if you land here and walk to the edge here, but then take your ship and then land here and then walk this way, you can't go back to where you were. It would still say the boundary. It doesn't connect and overlap and make it whole. I know, Rose. All I'm saying is if it even made a hint towards it, I'm sure if you go to the planet Earth, you're not going to see it, right? I guarantee you there'll be Easter eggs, right? Easter eggs of some sort. There's actually already an Easter egg because I remember in one of the videos, right, which means it is connected to Skyrim. There is what's that plant called? Nerut, right? Which means it is connected because that plant is on the planet that you look at. Sorry, Starfield could be ES and FO into the same universe. FO happened on Earth. ES, Elder Scrolls could be on a completely different world in Starfield. Sure. I'm so glad I'm going into this blind. My only question is with the titles is that Todd Big thing was always been you see that you can go to it. But what if you're seeing something and beyond the border? Not deal breaker, but the thought. Here's the thing. There was a video. They never said that you could continuously walk. They never said you can continuously walk around the planet. They never said that. Okay. So to say that that's what they said you could explore the whole planet. Okay. Which you can. It just so happens it's a tile at a time. Okay. If you want to sit there and put a marker on the map and then land there, it says you could explore where you land around the landing area. So if you land your ship and then you explore that whole area and then you get to the border, okay, and then you go and land your ship again somewhere else, you can continue exploring that planet. You can go across the whole planet and explore the planet 100%. Well, he said you can explore the full planet. That's not true. No, you can explore the whole planet. Listen to what I'm saying, Rose. You can land here and it makes a tile. You can land there, it makes another tile. You can land here, it makes another tile. You land there, it makes another tile. You can explore the entire planet. Let me get a planet on the screen. Okay? If I choose right here, I can explore that area. Let's just say the circle, again, for just the example of our thing here. If I click this spot here, that's the circumference of the circle that I have the boundaries on. Okay? Now, if I click next to this, I can then explore that circle above it. It might not be connected, but you can still explore it. Okay? And if you want to do that a million times on one planet, you can explore the entire planet. So I agree. I don't think that they lied at all. I'm just curious to think tiles link so it would see all beyond the border. It's also can the land explore and then fly to a new tile. I agree. We have expectations because you played No Man's Sky and you can drive around the whole planet of No Man's Sky, right? There's other games that you can go and it feels like a wide open area. But someone explain to me, or someone give me an example, any example of a game that has no boundaries before you hit the end of the map. Someone give me an example. Someone's going to put Minecraft in there. Minecraft has an end of the map. It doesn't continue indefinitely. Right? All maps have boundaries. All maps. The tiling system is for resource and size management. People wouldn't want 500 gigabytes. Well, on PC, if you want to have 2 terabytes of storage just dedicated to this game, I guess you could, right? Reese says you can't connect tiles, but my understanding is that to see a mountain but can't reach it, if you take off and re-land closer, it'll still be there. My understanding of what they described, Reese, is if I click, now there's going to be areas that you can't click on. Like if it's a mountain range, you won't be able to land in the mountain range, right? I would assume that. Okay. But if I click on this spot next to the ocean here, okay, and let's say 2/3 of the circle is in the water, then the ocean would be there. Okay. I'm sure someone's going to complain that you can't swim. Okay. I'm sure that'll be a thing, right? No one's ever tried to go into the water. As soon as someone tries to go in the water, they'll be like, oh, you can't swim? Fucking game is trash, right? It's a space exploration game and people are going to want to swim. So if a mountain range is there, and let's say you're 100 meters away and the boundary stops you. Now, if I click the next circle into the thing, it might not let me get any closer because maybe you're not allowed on the mountain range. And someone will be like, well, see, you can't explore everywhere. But if there's nothing there, then why would they let you there? I actually don't like No Man's Sky design. It's too much. I like more controlled experience where you can PGS touch. No Man's Sky is just totally random. I like the freedom of No Man's Sky, but let's be honest. Not many people are driving around the entire planet. You can, which is cool, but not many people are going around the planet. Why? Because it's the same. Right? It's the same trees you're going to shoot, the same bushes, the same rocks, the same animals. You're going to, no matter where you are, you're going to get the same materials and resources on that planet wherever you go. They didn't lie to say that you can't explore the entire planet. They said you can explore the entire planet. If that's what you want to do, that's what you do. 30, does Hogwarts Legacy count or no? For what? A boundary? There's boundaries in that. Here's my thing. If I land in an area, I'm taking a quest, or I'm just landing somewhere. I'm like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna land here. Let me go explore. I'm gonna find an animal. I'm gonna find a plant. I'm gonna find a cave. I'm gonna find something abandoned. Right? There's gonna be something there. I'm never, in no way, shape, or form, unless I physically say, you know what? I'm gonna run until I hit a wall. I don't think you're gonna hit that wall. I think if I take a quest, okay, and it says you gotta go to this planet and land here. When you land at that plot, that's a crafted area. If you want to explore that crafted area after you're done with the mission or whatnot, sure, I guess there's a circumstance that you could hit the wall if you get too close to it. But if you don't go out looking for the wall, I don't think you're going to hit the wall, if that makes sense. They probably should have made the planets small due to the tile system. Winter, I talked about this last year, right? I said, I forget if you were here or not, but I said, when they said 1,000 planets, I was like, why? Right? Because all I could think of was No Man's Sky. I was like, man, they could literally just made like 5 planets that you could completely explore, and that would have been enough, right? That would have been completely enough if they made 5 planets where you could go around the entire thing. Or 2 planets that you can go around the entire thing. Think how big a planet is. Okay? But instead, they're like, we got 1,000 planets. And I'm like, why? Why do you need 1,000 planets? Right? I'm more excited. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. I'm more excited for Star Wars Outlaws than I am for Starfield. Because I feel Starfield will be this, like, you're going to do the story, but everything else is going to be kind of like, eh. Where Star Wars Outlaws feels more handcrafted, and they have 5 planets or 6 planets, but it's not the whole planet. You know what I mean? It's giant chunks of like Division 2 inside of each of those planets, which is plenty of freaking space to move. Last I remember, I was nearing 3,000 planets visited No Man's Sky. Most of the time, it was just need some fuel to grab fuel and leave. Maybe leave a flag. Right. Realistically, there's going to be a large number of players who never even find out there's a wall because regular players aren't wandering that far. Yet, nobody, unless you're purposely running in a straight line, you'll never find it because you'll stop and pick up a plant, shoot an animal, bad guy, explore a cave, go in a building, get your backpack full, and then go back to your ship. Unless you're purposely running straight line, doing nothing else, I don't think you're going to get the wall. Maybe you're so involved in the game and you're like, I'm going to explore every single, right? And you're 30 minutes into the thing, you're doing all the stuff, then maybe you hit a wall. Maybe. Chapter 8 says, man, I know whenever I'm playing Skyrim or Horizon or Hogwarts and hit the edge of the map, I just go into the blind rage, so I can't imagine how angry I would be in multiple of those maps in one game. I get disappointed when I hit invisible wall, Chapter 8. I gave the example the other day with Destiny, right? We know Destiny is like, it's not a wide open map. There's sections that are bigger than others. But then I like climb up on something. I'm trying to get up on a ledge, or I'm trying to get up to, you know where that first battle where that walker was, and there's like the model rail track that goes across the top? In the very beginning of Destiny 1, I tried to get up there, but I would hit a ceiling. I would hit an invisible wall. Or if there wasn't a ceiling, I would jump up and try to get that. No, I know you're being sarcastic, right? But when I would hit the wall and I would be disappointed, I'd be like, oh, man, I want to get up there. But it's not like wrecking my game going, oh, this fucking game is garbage because I can't get up there. You know what I mean? With a game like this, I think people would be like an immersion breaker, but I don't think that's going to happen unless you physically run straight at the boundary. 10 minutes without doing anything in one direction. That's ridiculous. I see Star Wars Outlaws doing that 7 or so real big planets. Right. Not even planets. It's probably just a... You'll probably have to... just think of Washington, D.C. or New York. That big of a map, but on 5 different planets. Right? Tim says, I agree. Like, handcrafted worlds of Bethesda actually lost a little excitement with the 1,000 world announcement. I kind of wish maybe 5 or 8 handcrafted planets. Right? Just our solar system would have been fine because you know you can't go on a Jupiter and Mars and stuff. They're just there. You go past them. Right? But to land on those, it would be impossible. Gino says, sounds like they might upgrade this game over time. Sure. I mean, if we talk about this 5 years from now, we're gonna be like, man, remember Starfield when it first came out? Which I actually don't agree with. I wish a game came out and was a game. But is the game gonna be better 5 years from now? Most likely. Most likely. Plus, like you said, Star Wars is a brand I care about. Starfield is a new brand. I know it's Bethesda, but it's a new IP. Star Wars is a well-known, and that's why I'm more excited about Outlaws than I am Starfield. Not that I'm not excited about Starfield. Papa says, I'll add to that. Maybe 10 of those were extensively explored and everything. I'm an adventurer at heart. If space travel has a thing, I'll doing that over flying. Now, here's the thing. We asked last night, I said yesterday during the morning show, and then Preacher asked last night, do we think that the space is going to have that invisible wall? And I said 2 things. I said that it was either going to be, like if I go to Earth, it's going to be a pretty big area around Earth, or it's the entire system, right? Where you're flying the ship, because I'm assuming, but because it would take like 3 months to get to Mars. I think you're going to fast travel from Earth to Mars. And again, I don't know, right? But Todd was talking about how the time continuum like warps in and goes through it. You go through like a warp hole. So I would assume that just the area around the planet is pretty big. But what is that going to be? You won't break immersion because you're not immersed in it. You're looking for wall. That's true, Mo. That's true. Right? If you're going out looking for something, then you're not immersed in the world anyway. And if you're immersed in the world, you're not looking for that stuff. So I would say for a minuscule of a person that's just exploring and just happens to be walking in that same direction or in the same vicinity, it takes them 50 minutes or an hour and a half to get to the edge of the wall because they're so into the game, then maybe. Boss, with the quote, get your ass to Mars. Modders are going to have a ton of work for the next few years. Yeah, and YouTube Lurker said last night, he said, is it a fix if a modder comes in and makes like the worlds where it's seamless, right? Technically, it's not a fix. They're breaking the game so it works for their mod. But the game itself didn't want you to do that because they couldn't do that. And here's the reason they couldn't do that. Because, of course, a modder, with the time that they have, they're not getting paid, right? A modder's doing it because they love the game or they love what they do. So if they can work it out and make it seamless, then they'll do that. Where Bethesda, if they want to figure it out, they got to pay people thousands and thousands and tens of thousands of dollars to work on that to get it to work. Where a modder's like, I'm doing this in my spare time. Yeah, I can figure it out. Right? And it's no skin off Bethesda's back because they're like, oh, the modders will fix it. Leading into how actual space works, so definitely are going to require warp speed to get to different planets. Right, so I would assume that the area around Earth is like a huge area. And then the area around Mars is another. You'll probably hit the boundary somewhere in around each planet, I would assume. I will need a loading screen break after 45-minute run. Right? All right. The last story I want to talk about, it's noon. We're going to talk about it. I'm a big Star Wars fan, right? I'm a big Star Wars fan. I watched the first 2 episodes of Ahsoka. I just want to talk about what's happening to Ahsoka right now, okay? So right now, Ahsoka, the latest news for Ahsoka is that the latest for Star Wars series, Ahsoka, finally hits screens with 1.2 million households watching over its first 6 days. This is similar to the viewership of Andor premiere season and slightly lower than Mando third season premiere over its first 6 days. 1.2 million, this is not a number I would gloat about, okay? That is a really low number, okay? A really low number. See, they're comparing it to Andor, which wasn't really watched by many people. Popular show of the people that were watching it. And then Mando season 3 had really low numbers as well. Just to put in perspective, Mando season 1 had like 4 million. And then season 2 had like 5.3 million, if I'm not mistaken. Let me look it up real fast. I think. Yeah, Mando had 5.3. Viewers. Where is, yeah, 5.42 billion minutes that viewed spent watching. Now, this is what I hate when they talk about this. They don't talk about the actual millions of people, right? So I guess if you take 1.2 million people watching it, what was the episode? 44 minutes? What was that? 44 million hours watched? That's bad. That's bad. And you could like Ahsoka and say, "Oh, it was one of the greater shows." Andor was supposedly one of the best shows, but nobody watched it. The problem with Ahsoka is the homework that you have to do to understand what the hell is going on in this show is ridiculous. Okay? To understand who Ahsoka is, if you just watched Mando, right? You saw her in like 2 episodes, right? Over 2 seasons. okay, or whatever. One episode or 2 episodes? I forget what it was, right? But then you have to watch 7 seasons of Clone Wars. And you have to watch 4 seasons, well, 2 of the seasons of Rebels. But you have to watch 4 seasons of Rebels to understand who Sabine is, right? Syndulla. You have to understand who Ahsoka is, right? You have to watch all these things to understand what the hell is going on in this show. So, am I surprised that this number is so low? Not really, right? I enjoyed the show for what I saw, okay? For the main characters that I know of. Ahsoka. I've watched all 7 seasons of Clone Wars. I watched all 4 seasons of Rebels. I've seen all of the Mando shows except season 3. I stopped watching. Okay. So I know who these characters are, and I like Rosario Dawson as Ahsoka. I like how they have Sabine. I like how they have all the characters in there. I saw Chopper. I was like, oh, yeah, cool, right? It hits into the nostalgia feel of stuff about what's happening with Star Wars. The problem with this is that the story that they're delivering here is bad, okay? The fight scenes, in my opinion, the fight scenes and the choreograph of this are bad, okay? The story buildup and the acting in this show is bad. Not bad by the main characters, bad by everybody else of the supporting roles, okay? And then also, it makes no sense. And let me give you, if you guys haven't seen it, you probably don't care. And if you have seen it, you don't know what I'm talking about, okay? If you did watch Rebels, okay, you know how Rebels ended. So the first episode of this is technically the prequel to the last episode in Rebels. So Rebels ends, and then there's like a gap, and there's like this ending tile sequence that says that how long basically Ezra's been gone. We didn't know how many years it's been. That is the first episode here. The first episode here is that last 30 seconds of season 4 of Rebels, where Sabine walks up to the painting, and then Ahsoka shows up, and they go off to find Ezra, okay? Season 2, okay, or episode 2, takes place after, obviously, after that moment. So it's like, it's a very weird scenario what's happening here, because if you didn't know any of that, then you kind of lost here. Well, Ezra and Thrawn go off with some space whales that they don't know where they're traveling to. They just shoot off. So how is there a map of where Thrawn is in a ball that was buried in a thing in a temple that's 1,000 years old? Let's just start there. Can anyone explain that to me? Can anyone explain that to me? 1.2 million viewers. Everybody is mom on the TV is 12 million. It'll be noteworthy, right? It's a terrible number. It's a terrible number. Name of Secret Invasion. New Marvels watchers will be quite confused. Yeah, you only got to watch like 15 years of Marvel movies, right? It's like, what? Kylo Green says, yeah, it really makes me lost since I never watched Rebels, but still like the 2 episodes. What did you like about the 2 episodes, Kylo? And I'm not trying to fight you in any way, shape, or form. What did you like as a person that didn't see Rebels, right? What did you like about the 2 episodes? Tim says, I generally think people are losing interest in anything Disney is doing. Their track record has been kind of bad in recent memories and hard to excite over anything on Disney Plus, even if it is good. However, says season 3 of Mando was so disappointing. Jesse Mack says, Star Wars show is Kenobi series, got millions of viewerships, is 2.4 million out of their other Star Wars shows. Jason says, played Fallen Order and thought it was just regular AAA action game and been nothing interesting, and the lightsaber felt like a baseball bat. Let's see. I don't rate the lightsabers since the prequel trilogy. They look like night lights now. Choreograph has also been real mid too. Think of the fighting in the prequels. The prequel fights were fantastic, right? The original lightsaber fights, not so much. Return of the Jedi was pretty good with Luke and Vader fighting in the Death Star, right? But the lightsaber fights in the prequels were phenomenal. Now they're like, what's happening, right? Yes, of course, because Disney said so. But Zepho also. Ball says, just joining. 30. Lono saying Starfield tiles are not connected at all. Your thoughts on that? If you just rewind, literally, I don't know, 20 minutes, I went through the whole thing. Zach, I'll give you my quick thing. I think people are blowing it out of proportion because unless you're physically running in one direction purposely to hit the wall, you're never going to hit that wall. Because every time that ship lands, it's giving you the circumference of, let's just say, 10 minutes in every direction. So if I'm exploring and I land my ship there, to run 10 minutes in one direction away from my ship, okay, is pretty unconventional. Considering you're going to stop, pick up something, go somewhere, find something, kill something, and then you're going to go back to your ship. Because if you run 10 minutes one direction, you got to run 10 minutes back to get to your ship. Okay? Regardless if there was a wall there or not. Right? So, not connecting and doing stuff, I don't feel is a big thing. Because without a car, people are not going to be motivated to walk. They're not. In a very small, right? In a very small scenario, people might hit the wall and might break their immersion. But I don't think if you physically run out to go find the wall, then of course your immersion was never there. Mo brought that up. But he's saying that there's no planet at all. Terrain generates randomly and doesn't merge. But does it matter it merges? Right? Does it matter that it merges? Give me the scenario. Give me the scenario where you, right? If you land your ship, in what scenario are you going to run 10 minutes and then run another 20 minutes to get to the next border if they did connect? Second episode was okay, but the first gave me a lot of Phantom Menace feels. Okay, so the way they filmed it, Kylo, I thought was cool with the wipes and stuff like that, right? I think fundamentally, I understand it's a TV show, and the scrolling up front was a real push off for me. Talk about immersion breaking of Star Wars, right? The text that the title sequence that came up, I was like, what is this? Now, I understand it's not the film, but they could have done something to keep it in the Star Wars realm. Okay. Now, the fighting sequences and the amount of nothing happening in the show is what's killing it for me. Like, literally, nothing's happening. Ahsoka's not speaking, not talking, or speaking, talking the same, not saying anything, not even, like, thought out loud. Not talking to her robot in her ship that we didn't know was there until after. Okay? Like, nothing's going on. She does the same thing 3 times in the first episode to get a MacGuffin, to then find the thing to help her with the MacGuffin, to then really not needing the thing to have the MacGuffin, to find a map, to find a person that was gone after the map was created. You see what I'm saying? The fight between Rey and Kylo Ren left me confused. Couldn't tell if he'd been trained at all. He got beat by someone who swung a lightsaber around like a toddler. Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. Reese says that's not accurate to what I've seen. For what, Reese? For the show or for the talk of Starfield? Sabine making coffee. That's right, Titan. and why do we have to make? You ever notice? Here's the thing. Why does a robot blink now? Why is Disney making these robots be more human-like? A little weird. I know I'm picky. I say it on my Discord. I'm more picky than the most, okay? But there's certain things that happened in Rebels and in Clone Wars, and it makes no sense why they're trying to do here. You're talking about Lono's claims. Okay. I pray to see Anakin in this episode in the flashback. Oh, I think you're going to see him for sure. Travis says Skyrim has been out for 13 years, so it only hit a wall once. People complaining about this are just waiting for something to whine about. That's what I'm saying, though, Travis. Like, in the map of Skyrim, you know where the boundaries are, right? You know where the boundaries are. In Fallout 76, you know where the boundaries are. In a game like this, you don't know where the boundaries are because it's the universe. So they have to make boundaries somehow. Jeez, Jason says Disney's dumb and stupid. I agree. I agree, Jason. And I want to like this show. And I love seeing the live action, but you know what I think would have been better? If they just made a 5th season of Rebels. It would have been cheaper. It would have been cheaper, and I'll tell you what, they probably would have had the same turnout. His concern was mostly about that if you leave an area, it'll be completely different next time you return. Also, tiles are stitched together. Terrain won't match up. But why is that a big deal, though? Here's the thing. If I build a base on that tile and I leave and come back, the area is not changing. The base is not changing. Okay? Means you're investing your time in that base and you're building the base, and that's where your home is. And 10 minutes in every direction is the area that it's in, right? But if I leave and then come back to that same exact location, one, why am I coming back to that same location? Think about this. I'm just exploring. There's 1,000 planets. There's 1,000 spaces on that thing that I can click anywhere on the map to land. Why am I going to the exact same space if I didn't build anything there? Let me know, and then I'll answer your next question. Jesse Mack says, Ahsoka is missing Anakin Skywalker guide to where her way, what is right for her. Kylo says, oh yeah, he's in the show. I just hope to see him in episode 3. Don't have to wait. Everyone could complain if Starfield became lost in space. Right. According to the guys that they have played it, that's not a valid concern. I don't think it's a concern. That's what I'm saying. I haven't played it. Just thinking logically. Everything has boundaries. You know why? Because you'll never accomplish anything. Boundaries are created to keep you from going, the hell was I doing? R2 was personally quirks of did 3PO, so can forgive the quirks of the robots have. Poor writing, poor choreograph, poor pace. That I don't forgive. There's really bad pacing in Ahsoka. So your opinion is that they won't be backtracking outside of the specific planet you're on. Why would I backtrack to an empty area? Unless I take a quest and it happens to bring me back to a place I randomly picked on the planet. Why would I have to backtrack somewhere? If I could find resources anywhere on the planet, why would I go to the exact same spot I was before? You explore the entire planet according to those with review copies. They haven't given details on how because of the embargo. But you can. You can just pick anywhere on that map. That world that we saw, like the entire planet, you could click on certain areas. Now, there was someone that said that they could pick on something they won't let them pick. And I was assuming because it's a mountain terrain. And because it's a mountain terrain, it's like, where would you land the ship? You know what I mean? On the mountain terrain, unless it's a big plateau or something. So because you can't land on a mountain, is it not explorable? And then again, if you land next to a mountain, you're like, I want to explore the mountain. But there's nothing in the mountain. If they stop you from climbing the mountain, would you be pissed because you're like, I can't get on the mountain? That's the wall. Right? That's a wall, not an invisible wall. That's an actual wall. I get what you're saying. Shouldn't matter. Some people are just concerned that they cannot actually explore the planet. It's not static, just a pile of random generated squares. But you can explore. I want to know the scenario, bro, right? I want to know the scenario where someone's landing on the planet and then running around the planet. I would like to know the person that's running around, because if they run let's just say there's no boundaries. There's no boundaries. So you run away from your ship. and you're an hour and a half away from your ship. Okay, you're an hour and a half away from your ship. You got to run an hour and a half back to your ship unless you call your ship. So what's the difference now? Now I run 10 minutes away from my ship, and then it asks me, do you want to call your ship or do you want to transfer back to your ship? What's the difference? Right, that's what I'm asking. Do you think the quest won't make you go back to the entire planet? Will your quest be limited to a planet? No, the quest will be limited to where they made areas. You know what I mean, Travis? It'll make you go back to the areas they want you to go back to. So if you have to go back, maybe you click on an area before you actually take the quest, right? And it's like an actual base there you happen to find randomly. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, I'm going through this. You're exploring it, blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden you start doing the main quest and it's a side quest. And someone goes, hey, I need you to go to this base. And you're like, oh, I've already been here. And you backtrack. That's potential. We all wish there weren't restriction landing zones on the planets. Oh, well. Jesse Max says, why is Disney not releasing the world viewership numbers of Ahsoka? Weird. I bet you worldwide numbers are higher in U.S. I don't think they are. I don't think they are, Jesse. I think there's a lot of people that are not watching because there's one, they're not interested. They're just done with Star Wars or done with Disney. And then the people that are watching Ahsoka are kind of confused on what's happening because they're not telling a good story. Wasn't really about the distance to borders, more like you see a mountain, the distance. It's not actually there. If you go to the next tile, according to Reddit. But what? Okay. What was said, if I click on a spot on a map and there's water to my right on the map, and I land there, then water would be to my right, and then I can only go on the rest of the map that's there, right? Now, if I click just outside, right, and I see, I go, let me describe it a little bit better. Water's to my south, right, to the south of me. I land here. Now, I only can go 10 minutes north now because water, the 10 minutes south is covered with water. Yeah, I see the ocean. Now I go 10 minutes, and now I land on the other side, and now when I look back this way, I'm not going to see the place I already was. Why is that a big deal? What matters? If you ran 10 minutes this way, right? You ran 10 minutes north. There was nothing there. Now you land your ship on the other side and go back this way. Why do you care to go back into the place that you just saw nothing? You see what I'm saying? You're an explorer. To go 10 minutes in every direction, and then you have to get back to your ship. And if you don't want to run 10 minutes, you're going to call your ship. So you're going to teleport to your ship. And then you go somewhere else to explore. If you don't want to do that, okay, because your immersion is broken, then this is the example I give, is that you've seen the wizard behind the curtain, and you're not going to like anything that they do in the game anymore because you saw the curtain. You peeled it back and saw a guy standing there. There's no great Oz. It's just a guy behind the curtain. Because after I came out, it's been almost a month of Starfield is every image after it's done drops. Sure. Yeah. 3 months before it launched. Love how you say everyone outside of this, that nobody I know is talking about Starfield. And you don't know a lot of people, Travis. Like, my mother asked me and said, what is that new game that's coming out? I was like, what game? Like the spaceship game. I personally see your point. Lono's upset that they are completely disconnected tiles that are generated as you land. I understand like the immersion is broke there, right? But let's put it in a world here. Zach, let's put a world where, let's say the leak didn't come out, that there was a boundary because someone wasn't going in just one direction doing nothing, right? They did nothing. All they did was run in a straight line to a border. Okay. Let's say that leak doesn't come out. How long do you think it would have taken someone to figure out there was a boundary? I think it would be months. You know why? Because you would be so immersed in the game by collecting resources, shooting animals, collecting something else, exploring an abandoned building, a cave, taking pictures, scanning things, doing a job, doing a side quest, doing a main mission, doing whatever. So to run in one direction, to get to the border, it wouldn't take you 10 minutes. It would take you 4 hours, right? Do you know what I'm saying? Because someone's like, hey, run in one direction. See how long it takes you. Of course, someone's going to do it. But how many of those people are actually going to be like, that's how I play a game. I just run in a straight line and I don't interact with anything. I think the problem is a non-problem. I don't think it's a problem. I think people are blowing it out of proportion because they're worried about Starfield. Everyone wants to love it, and they think that if Starfield comes out and falls short in any way, shape, or form, they're going to be disappointed. What about if you just go into a game and just play the game for what it is, and then you decide if, like, in the back of your head, are you gonna know, I'm 9 minutes in, 9 minutes and 30 seconds in, I'm gonna hit that wall, right? Like, just if you've seen the curtain, if you've seen behind the curtain, then you probably, and I'm not saying you specifically, I'm just saying in general, once you see the guy behind the curtain and he's no longer the great and powerful Wizard of Oz, then you're probably going to ruin your own immersion, and maybe you shouldn't play the game. And maybe it's good that it came out early than later. I haven't seen anything, only heard. So it ain't true to me. Right. I mean, I don't even care, Bo. I saw the message and I don't care. It's not one of those things, if it didn't happen to me, it doesn't exist. It's, why would you play the game that way? But each their own. But each their own. I just want to know one game that doesn't have a boundary. Because No Man's Sky has a boundary. Not on a planet, but they have a boundary, right? You take your ship and you fly all the way to the end. It just there. It doesn't get any farther. It doesn't look like you're hitting a wall, but you are hitting a wall because I've done it on purpose. But if you're not doing it on purpose, you're never going to hit a wall. Back to Ahsoka. I really want this show to do good. I think they're going to go down a steep path. Those of you that watched Rebels, those of you that watched Clone Wars, you know of the world between worlds, and now they're introducing like another universe in the thing. Maybe it's Starfield's universe. I don't know, right? Maybe they changed the old trilogy. Maybe they changed the new trilogy. Maybe they just separate themselves completely from the old and the new trilogy and go a separate path. I hope that the setting of this, because we're a quarter through, there's only 6 episodes left of Ahsoka, okay? 6 episodes left. They got to do something. Staring at somebody and not saying anything, or staring at an object and not saying anything, like nothing. Not even looking at the object going, I wonder how to figure this, some sort of, right? Something, anything. They say absolutely nothing, right? It makes no sense in the writing. If you guys watch the beginning of Ahsoka episode 1, right? They're there to get the map. But because they didn't get the map, they're going to blow it up. Okay. So then what would have happened? End of show. The map that we're trying to get blew up because the self-destruct mechanism blew up half the planet. Chapter 8 says, I don't get the immersion. Do people really get lost to the extent they forget it's a game and it's broken, it ruins the game? Because, like, how are they playing anything since most games have loading? I don't know. I don't want to say, I want to say yes, people do get immersion broken, right? Like, there was a game I played called Second Life, and people literally lived in Second Life. It's like a meta universe type of thing, right? I don't know if I could say the same thing for Starfield, but there are people that get lost in a game and they play there for hours, and like it happens to MMOs. MMOs, people lose their lives for MMOs because they're immersed into that game, regardless if it's like the game itself or the community in the game or doing something in the game. So yes, people do lose themselves into the immersion of the game. Titan says, these maps in Star Wars, why did Luke create a map if he didn't want to be found in The Force Awakens? Don't gotta ask me that question, Titan. That's what I said. I was like, what the fuck is the point? If he didn't want to be found, then why did you make a map? it's so stupid. It's so stupid. I'm immersed in many things. Sometimes it hits harder than others. Sure, Mo. Yeah. Still can't believe someone tried to sue Bethesda because they couldn't turn off the system and go to work. What? That's a thing? Well, I appreciate it, Rick. It's so stupid. Why would you? The point is, though, how did the witch make a map to find the person? If she made the map with magic, then why would she need the map to find the person? Why would you have to make a map to find the thing? Here's the best part. Are you ready for this? In episode 1, Ahsoka figures out the map of the universe, right? Sabine tells her, oh, it's a map. It tells you where it goes into a different galaxy. Then why would you have to take that map and then go to Stonehenge in the future here and put it on this little podium to then see like, it doesn't make sense. Nothing makes sense. People that are in my chat right now is like, is he talking about Starfield or is he talking about Ahsoka? We're talking about Ahsoka right now. I'm having multiple conversations at a time because I'm very talented. I go back and forth. I didn't watch Rebels in full, though. Rebels is the first 2 seasons are kind of slow. The end of season 2, fantastic. Season 3 and season 4 are really good in Rebels. And then season 4 ends. If you want to know and want to catch up, Titan, just watch the last 2 episodes of Rebels so you know what the hell's going on in the show. Water says, looking forward to Thursday. We'll be watching Equalizer 3 and playing Starfield at the same day. Equalizer 3. Oh, let me tell you a funny story, Water. So my nephew, we all went to go see Gran Turismo. And if you guys haven't seen Gran Turismo, it's a fantastic movie. Sony did a phenomenal job with the way they shot it, the way to make it feel like a video game, the story itself. It's a fantastic movie. So go check it out. Don't read the reviews and stuff like that. It is Rocky, but with car racing, if that makes sense to anybody. Okay? It's the same type of sports show, person down there, down, tries to come up and become a good. It's a phenomenal movie. Okay. So my nephew, he's terrified of his own shadow. Okay. So while we're in line, I asked my wife to get me a drink. She forgets to get me a drink. We all get to the theater. We all sit down. There's 10 of us, right? We're watching Gran Turismo. And I'm like, you didn't get me a drink. Okay. And I go, I'll go get a drink. So I leave. Okay. I leave to go get a drink. I come back and I hear, why? What's going on? Like, My nephew was like, Daddy, I can't watch this. The trailers before Gran Turismo were all like horror flicks for Halloween. So, so now my nephew, 3 days later, still having like nightmares because of the trailers before the movie. He liked the movie. He didn't like the trailers. But I was laughing because I was like, what happened? They're like, it showed Equalizer was the last one. The Nun was one of the trailers. What was one of the other trailers that I didn't see them? I didn't see any of them because I had to go get a drink. Right? So I was like, why didn't you take him out of the theater if he was scared? It was just funny. To me, it was funny because I wasn't there. I came back. He's like, Dad, I can't do this. Oh, maybe it was the Exorcist trailer. I don't know what it was. Yeah, Equalizer 3 actually looked pretty good. I gotta see. I didn't know there was the second one. I gotta watch the second one and the third one. What was it? It was the Nun, Exorcist, Equalizer 3, and I think there was one more trailer. So we went to go take a movie, so because we knew the movie would be okay for the kids, but the trailers is what screwed them up. Oh, right, the Leonardo, the Indian one, Butterfly or something. Yeah. That's it. Five Nights at Freddy's. That was the other one, boss. Yeah, that was it. But go check it out if you guys are interested. You're like on the fence of seeing Gran Turismo. Good movie. Good movie. Edge of your seat. Like, you know what's happening, but you're still involved. Like, you're still engulfed into the actual story. Yeah, Five Nights at Freddy, and then Equalizer. I think that's what it was. Yeah, I thought it was done really well, boss. You know, I'm gonna sound like a boomer here. Water. I know of Five Nights at Freddy, but I don't know what it is. Like, I know it's a video game, but I don't know what it is. I think Napoleon looks good. I said this a couple weeks ago when I saw the trailer. I forget what movie we went to go see. But I was like, I don't know if Joaquin Phoenix could be Napoleon, but I believed it when I watched the trailer. It's basically pure evil for kids. Is it like a horror game on video games? It's animatronics that are alive and try to kill you. Oh, okay. So it's like Killer Clowns from Outer Space or anything like that. Like one of those type of things. Dave Rose said Gran Turismo was great. Saw it twice. Yeah, my son, he literally walked up to me because we were sitting far apart. At the end of the movie, he walked up to me. I was like, Dad, that was the greatest movie I've ever seen. He's like I want it to come on DVD. He's like, I want to watch it right now again. And I was just like, awesome. He loved it. He absolutely loved it. He thinks it's amazing that because he loves playing racing car games and just video games in general. So I know in his little mind, right? In his little mind, he's learning I could become a professional whatever by playing video games and stuff, right? Yeah, he absolutely loved it. I'd never seen him light up before, and he's liked other movies, but this one just hit him. He loved it. Loved it. He wants to watch it again. So in your opinion, could it be is Generation Rocky? I mean it's that movie it's like Karate Kid. It's like Rocky. It's that movie, Water. You know what I mean? I guess it could be considered the Rocky or Karate Kid of this generation. But I don't want to put it. I don't want to put it on high praise of like. But it's that type of movie. It's that type of movie where you have the coach, right? You have the you know what I mean? Need for Speed. I think he has. If it's on Game Pass, Jesse, he's played it. That if it's on Game Pass, he's played it. I think I'm gonna have to get a PlayStation just so he can play Gran Turismo now. Or maybe I'll buy Gran Turismo for the PlayStation 4 and let him play that. Like he loved it. He loved it. He hasn't shut up about it. Every day he brings it up. When's it coming out on DVD? Is it coming out on DVD? Can we get it digitally? He wants it on his iPad so he can like just hit play and go. What's my favorite Gene Wilder movie? I like a lot of Gene Wilder movies. I like when him and Richard Pryor did Hear No Evil, See No Evil, or See No Evil, Hear No Evil. Like I love those, the comedies that they did. Blazing Saddles is another one. I like Willy Wonka. Right. Exactly, Water. Now you're getting it, right? Hey, the excuse is, oh, we got to get Gran Turismo 5 or whatever it is. We got to get Gran Turismo on PlayStation 5 for our son. He loves the movie. Spider-Man. Yeah. No, he knows. He's excited about the motorsports mode. Right now he's playing the last motorsports one. So question. Are you guys watching Ahsoka? Right? Let me see. Let me put a poll. Are you guys watching? And I guess in that, if you are going to watch it, put yes. If you're not watching it, obviously, put no. Want to see if you're one of the 1.2 million. Gran Turismo for a kid walks in. Dad, can I play? No, Spider-Man 2. Shut it. Yeah. Oh, I'm playing Spider-Man 2 right now. Get out of here. Yeah, right now I'm gonna finish watching the whole series. I am gonna watch the entire series, but right now the first 2 episodes, I'm not feeling it. I want the best for it. This is my last hope for Star Wars, so I really hope they do something to kind of change what's happening right now in Ahsoka. Oh, my son plays the first Spider-Man, Travis. My son's been gaming since he was been like 3, and it's different gamer than I was when I was 3. I played bowling on the Atari 2600 and like Pong. Okay, I think his first game was like Flight Sim. No, that's not true. It's Minecraft when he was 3. Right? It was Minecraft when he was 3. Then he's played so many other games since then. Like he would just swing around Spider-Man, right? He would just swing around Spider-Man. Loves that game. He's unlocked some things for me as far as like doing different events and whatnot. He loves it. Surrender your hopes. Kathleen demands it. Is there really a 6-minute scene with no dialogue? Yes. Multiple. One is like 4.5 minutes, and one is 6 minutes of no dialogue. She walks up, cuts a hole, drops into this this cavern, like this tomb. She figures out a puzzle, grabs the thing, jumps back up, and then has a fight. And the only word she says is, we? That's it. Oh, yeah, no, my problem with the show of Ahsoka is not Rosario Dawson as Ahsoka. It's not Sabine. It's not General Sodulu, right? It's not the original cast in the animated form of Rebels. It's everything else about the series. Yeah, but Travis, it's not even about too little dialogue and a lot of dialogue. There's no story. Like, if you didn't watch Rebels, if you didn't watch Clone Wars, if you didn't watch anything else, they literally tell you nothing. Visually, they're not even telling you a story. Visually, they're not even telling you a story. You're like, okay, she's lining up a stuff for a puzzle to get what? A ball. They don't tell you it's a map. She's not talking to anybody. I found it. There was no... The tomb. Who's she talking to, right? You would have been like, that would have been cool. Like, who's she talking to? And then someone responds back, oh, what is it? There's some sort of 3 pillars here. It's some sort of puzzle, right? Oh, there's hieroglyphics on the wall. Like, something to tell me what the hell's going on, right? And I'm smart. I know what was going on, but I was like, this is bad. This is bad. I found it. You found the map? I did. All right, well, get it back here. Jumps up. Give us the map. Oh, give us the map? But she didn't say we, it was us. That's what she says. She says us, right? And then she should have said, bring the ship. I'll be right there. Hurry. Starts to fight, blah, blah, blah. Nope, none of that happens. None of that happens. Nothing. Nothing happens. Then Sabine's running on her bike, and there's like this rock music playing, and I don't really care that it was like rock music. The music didn't really fit inside the Star Wars universe, but I'm not gonna hold it against them, right? I'm just like, all right, whatever. But they're like having this conversation with she's moving at like 90 miles an hour. The ship is moving at 90 miles an hour because she's pacing. And they're having like this conversation back and forth. And it's like, what is happening right now? Then she gets back to her house and she says nothing. Walking around, makes herself a cup of coffee. Nothing said anything. It's like, happening. If you're interested in Ahsoka, you pretty much already know her backstory. So it's more like a live action Rebels. Right. I think I would have rather done an animated 5th season. Yes, Water, she's a Jedi, but doesn't show any signs of a Jedi. Right? So Sabine has no Force abilities. None. That we've seen. Okay? But yet she's being trained by Ahsoka because she's a fighter from Mando and from Mandalorian, okay? Or from Mandalore. And she's a good fighter. But she doesn't have any Force abilities unless it comes out later. It's character building. Now we know she likes coffee. Oh, man. And then lightsabers don't do anything anymore. Let's be honest. Lightsabers only kill males. They do not kill females. They only kill males. Kylo, what's it called? Qui-Gon gets stabbed. He's dead. Technically, Darth Maul got sliced in half and he died. Han Solo got stabbed. He's dead. The captain of the ship, he got stabbed. He's dead. Okay. Right? But women get stabbed. Reva gets stabbed. She's okay. Who else got stabbed? Oh, I forgot. I forgot. Finn did survive, but he didn't get stabbed. He got sliced up his whole spinal cord, but nothing. He's fine. It only killed the rest of his character building for the rest of the other 2 movies. Nobody dies. Oh, I guess. Hold on a second. I'll take it one more back. The Inquisitor in Obi-Wan also got stabbed from Reva's lightsaber, and he also didn't die. So, but we don't know what he was. He's an alien, so. And I have a question. If the bacta tank heals people, right? What's the point of stabbing someone with a lightsaber if 10 seconds later they're going to be up and running about? Right? So the bacta tank heals the wound internally. So it closes it up all internally, but leaves a scar on the outside, like a big hole. So she can remember that she got stabbed by a lightsaber. Just a little weird. Just a little weird. So in theory, he died. That's right. That's right. Finn, in theory, died because his character got assassinated to actually be what he was in the very beginning. That's not true, Stealth. Go look where she got stabbed, and then go look at where they put the hole in her in her stomach. Go look where she got stabbed, and then go look at where the hole is. 2 different places. Trust me, I paused it and looked. Oh, I get it, Jesse. I get it that she hinted, but up until this point, the training that she did with Ahsoka, and I'm assuming it was 5 years of training, she didn't. And mind you, the other girl that was trained in Dark Jedi, you would think that she would go for the kill. But, you know, Ahsoka gave her force powers. Okay. All right. I think that'll do it for today. It's 12:48. I'm going to go eat some lunch. I got things to do because there's a hurricane coming, so I got to prepare my house for the worst, even though we probably won't get hit, but we'll be back tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, for more gameplay. We'll be back tomorrow morning if you guys don't visit tonight for more video game news. Video game news is pretty light right now because of Starfield, let's be honest. Everything's talking about Starfield. So if you like it, hit that like button down below. Hit that subscribe button down below as well if you're not a subscriber. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. We're here Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning till noon Eastern. And then we're also back from 8 p.m. to about midnight on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And then we do a podcast on Thursdays called Generation X Gaming, which is a weekly podcast that goes over a few of the top stories from the past week. And we rant along the way. Appreciate you very much. Thanks for the conversation. Thanks for being part of our community here. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.